What's up, Mr. Ross Burns, and welcome to Bridge the Gap. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and this is the show where we talk to interesting people, such as yourself, and learn the story of your life to try to extract some knowledge nuggets to better enhance all of our collective existences.
Oh,
So,
you're doing some homework.
it's more like the format of the show, as you'll come to see will reveal it all. But we just want to hear what your life is from your own words, right? And then through what you feel is important, I promise we're gonna learn something. It's just how it's gonna be because we all have interesting lives.
I agree, brother, and I appreciate you having me on here. I mean, I love doing this kind of stuff. Like you said, it's always good to, what I mean, talking to different people. I even learn different stuff about myself that you don't even think about, maybe necessarily. You know what I mean? So it's always good to enlighten your mind. You know what I mean? Expand my horizons here, all
Facts.
the way to Montreal.
Yes.
No, bro. Oh,
So yeah, basically, we do have a proper little opening question, but before that, just to let the people have some context about you, are you able to let us know where you start your life, like the very youngest era of Ross Burns? Where does that take place?
probably from back when I started becoming my own little man, kind of deal.
Yeah, like let's say you're like 3, 5 years old. The earliest memories, like where are you situated in the world?
I have some memories back from when I was really really young, like big wheel and learning how to ride a bike with I remember taking the training wheels off my bicycle in my buddy Nick's driveway because he had a two wheeler, and I was like, "What the? Let me try, man." And then he just let me try, and I got it, bro. And I was like, and you know what? That's how you build confidence, and that's
Hmm.
when I was a young guy. That's how I kind of learned that. You know what? I can do it. He's doing it. Why can't I do it? And that's kind of always been my attitude since then. So that's been instilled back then, like you're saying, I guess
Yeah, but
the foundation.
but where, like location wise, like where were you?
Oh, I've been born and raised in Hamilton,
Fair.
East End, around the cinema my whole life. I grew up in front of this on Fraser Street. We lived on two houses in front of the mall. Then went to the one side, and then we went behind the mall, then the other side. So
Mm.
pretty much around the center mall my whole life I grew up, East End, Hamilton.
That's fair. I personally don't know that much about Hamilton. I went once, one time, but it was because I landed late in Toronto and my homeboy saved my life and gave me a place to crash. But like other than that, I can't recall ever being there. I do know that the bus system in Hamilton shares my initials as HSR, and that fucked me up and made me realize it would be a terrible ass rap name because they got HSR. I lost that battle. But with that, I do have like a proper like opening little story question. It's a little bit of a lengthy one, but when it lands, it'll kind of get the conversation rolling. And it starts with my girlfriend, and she'll be washing the dishes this one time, and she was playing that Black Eyed Peas song. They're like, I got a feeling, ooh. She's like
Yeah,
vibing,
yeah.
she's dancing, she's like doing her thing, and I'm looking at her, and I go, when in the fuck did this song become chores music? Right? Because if you think about this song and you run it back like 10, 11 years, it's like a middle of the night anthem song. Everybody's dancing, it's celebrations,
Yeah.
it's good times. Now a whole decade and a bit's passed, and it's the chores music. It's like you're exercising, you're doing kind of really boring stuff, and you're trying to bring your brain back to these celebration times. And then it made me realize, yo, as artists, as people, we go on these journeys with music where as our lives change, the context that the music surrounds us with also changes. So like you can picture the 20-year-olds, they're running around with the drills and all this stuff. Now they vibing out, they doing their shit, and they have no idea that that's what they're going to be washing dishes to when they're our age, trying to turn up, trying to scrub some plates and shit. They don't know that I heard Pop Smoke and I skipped the line. It went straight to dishes music for me. So I'm doing my little Pop Smoke dances, washing plates. That's just what happens. You get older and stuff. But then it made me think about the way interviews go and how as artists and people we tell our stories. And if you'll notice with most people, it seems like music doesn't exist in a person's life before the age of like 11. and that's when they discovered hip hop and they started rapping and it's like, now hold on a second, music been around us from time since the very beginning. Like there's a good chance in Hamilton when you came out the hospital or whatever, there'd be like songs playing in the room that a little baby Ross Burns was absorbing. And I think back to like when I'm young, I'm like, I can remember being like 5 years old in the apartment in Montreal, and my dad's got gray boxes everywhere, like the tape deck and the radio and the preamp and the amp and stuff, and he's got these wires and shit connected, giving us that little bootleg surround sound and the fucking like Led Zeppelin tapes and stuff like that he'd play. But at nighttime, it would be that club music live from the clubs in Montreal. But my mom's, it was more like discos and musicals and love songs and all these other vibes that were like mixed in, and they were listening to all of this, and I had no control over any of the music. I was just forced to listen to what they was listening to. So with that in mind, Mr. Ross Burns, I was hoping you could bring us back to the youngest Ross Burns you can remember being, and let us know what it sounded like to be you before you could control what you were listening to.
Oh, absolutely. I remember 100% listening. I used to say Rick James. My dad used to buy the Rick James going, Jimi Hendrix, and a lot of metal too when I was young. Like when I was really young, I was into I still even love Motley Crue, Twisted Sister. And my mom was like always listening to like Cher, Tina Turner, Lionel Richie. That was her vibe. But my dad, like I said, he was more on the Rick James and Lee Aaron. I remember like Scorpions, all these old metal bands. So that's where I got my love for like I love instruments in general, right? Like to me, music, it's like touches my soul. Like, you know what I mean? It's like therapy, as I always say to people, like music is my therapy. So like you said, it's since a young age, it's definitely always it takes you to a certain place. That's what music does for me, right? And that's what I'm hoping. That's my plan with why I make music. Is so one day when I'm an old man, even older than now, and I'm like laid up in a bed, I'll be like run my track back, and it takes me back to like this Friday when I'm at the absent performing at the highly anticipated show. You know what I mean? That's gonna be stamped in my head forever. To go with the song, with the template. So absolutely, like you said, back in the day, I grew up. Like hip hop wasn't, when I was really really young. It wasn't really so. You know, me and my parents definitely weren't listening to it until I got probably around 8 or 9. I would say I started listening to hip hop.
So before we get to the hip hop part, cause trust, when people are young, man, it's always interesting. You might not find it that interesting, but anybody that cares about you finds it interesting. And yo, what's up, Stay Connected Studios, who says Mr. Burns the legend. You know,
The legend,
the
respect,
legend.
brother. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm just, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to do my thing, and then I like I'm about the culture in my city and everybody around. You know, try to like deal with everybody and help everybody do their thing, you know. So
Yeah, people like that
you
are a
know,
big blessing. But when you were like young, right? Like, how were your parents bumping music? Was it like vinyls? Was it like the radio? How, like, what was
yeah,
it? What
when
was
I
the
was
vibe
young,
like?
definitely. I remember the tall, you know what I mean, the record player with the receiver, with the tape deck, and a bunch of vinyls. I remember vinyls. But when I was young too, I had my first system was an Atrack player. It was like
Mm.
it was old back then. And then I remember the first time I remember, funny story, my dad, he you know, he used to be able to put the scotch tape over it just like the cassettes. You could do it with 8 tracks too. And then he made me a Michael Jackson mixtape. And then at the end of Thriller, he somehow copied in and vocaled in like, "Whoa, Rossi, I'm coming to get you." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So that was pretty cool. But that was my first system, was an 8 track system. But my parents had the vinyl by then.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, that's,
I
yeah,
mean,
you're taking me back for sure, bro. Holy,
yeah, because that's where the
many
story
many memories.
starts. Because, yo, half the time, okay, maybe not half the time. I ask this question to a lot of people, and a large enough percentage of people, whatever they're saying when they were like super young, ties in some way to who they are in terms of making music, right? So in your case, it might be you like instruments more because you grew up with this background, or you had that moment where your dad spliced a song. That's a little bit of engineering work that was exposed to your life when you was a little one. You don't even know. Maybe that planted some seeds later on, type stuff. So
Yeah, no,
like, so
you're right, man. I never thought of it that way, right?
so for me, I just
So
hear it, and it's
creativity.
always super interesting. And but also, like, when you were young, were you like having dreams of being a singer? Were you like air guitaring and learning songs, or were you like into more like sports and other kinds of stuff? Or what was your like childhood vibe?
When I was young, I was like, I like anything with motors or like bikes, or like I was just doing like boy shit. You mean jumping my bike, playing on RC cars, building models, whatever kind of shit like that. I like that kind of stuff. I wasn't like in any kind of music, like musically inclined, like in any kind of choirs or learn any instruments. None of that stuff. I just played sports, played baseball, a lot of ball hockey.
Mm.
But yeah, that was where I was at when I was young.
And then you said somewhere around 8 or 9, you got like, it kind of evolved a bit and you started caring more about music.
Absolutely. I remember when I was 8 or 9, we used to be playing ball hockey and we had the big boom box and we had like the Beastie Boys, Fat Boys. I even remember Maestro Fresh West, let your backbone slide. And I'm out there playing hockey on the street hockey. Time, you got to move the net. Car comes through, pull it back over. So yeah, I remember those days. That's when hip hop started. I was like, oh, I like this. I like this stuff.
How were you like finding it? Was it like people around the block had tapes, or was it the radio? Because keep in mind, for you, it might seem matter of fact, but there might be people hearing this that grew up and had YouTube since their whole memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely we used to have to buy the single and the cassette and actually support the artist straight up. There was no free downloads, there was nothing. If you wanted to hear a song, you had to go buy it unless you did the old scotch tape on the cassette and caught it on the radio. Like, you know what I mean? If you knew it was on top 10, maybe you can catch it like that, make yourself a little mixtape. Some people did that stuff. But generally I would just buy the tape. Then you get the little printout. Sometimes it'd have the words, which is cool. You know what I mean?
You guys were able to
Rap
buy
along with
hip
it.
hop at like 10?
Pardon?
You were able to buy hip hop when you were like 10?
My friend's parents get it for them, I guess. I didn't have a boombox, not by my buddy
Mm,
Sean Savers. I remember the airplane on the Beastie Boys thing. And then, like, you know what I mean?
that's a
Fat
wild tape
Boy,
for y'all to have as
Mr.
a kid. Like it's a good tape,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, man, that's many moons ago. No more cassettes. That's crazy.
I mean, they're still out there, but I bet
Crazy that vinyl's making a comeback,
I think it's
right?
like because it's a sick ass collector's item and it has like a utility value as like a DJ thing. Like there is an actual
Absolutely.
utility value to a vinyl in a way where it's harder to justify the purpose of a CD, which doesn't have any real value in this world anymore.
I feel like listening to a vinyl, it just hits different too.
Mm.
You know?
That's
I
fair.
don't know,
And
warmer,
it's more
if it's
enduring,
warmer.
right? Like a vinyl gonna last like the next like forever kind of thing. Whereas CDs and even tapes, they're pretty like fallible. Like if you picture like a vinyl is like some shit that you're giving to your like grandkids, and it's like generational or
Yeah, it's not like a CD where you see CDs tossed around all over people's house now. You're not gonna see out of records. People
Or
put
you
them
find
back in the
fucking
case.
like actual CDs in the streets sometimes. Not as often now, but like you'd be like walking down and see some like classic Dr. Dre album just smashed up in the middle of the street, and it's just like no
That's terrible. I
empty.
think skip one too many times. Skipped one too many times. I've been there and I just go pop right on my knee and out the window. I'm done with this CD.
Yeah, I mean Spotify did fuck that shit up. I can't go back now. I'm a Spotify guy for life.
Yeah, well, that's the world now, right? Like, it's like who can't like it's so convenient, and you can pick and choose exactly what songs you want on demand at your house. You know, like it's crazy, but that's what the world is, right?
Yes, it's definitely. Well, it's also like think about like the entertainment. Just like on a little tangent, like you grew up in like an era where y'all was just literally doing like motorized cars and outside a lot. I grew up with Nintendo. Like people want to act like that shit hasn't been around for a minute, but like the second Nintendo kicked in, bro, we used to like hang out in the schoolyard with Pokemon with like 4 Game Boys and those cords and just like Pokemon. Like Pokemon Go was like, to me it was just like, oh yeah, it's like being 10 again. Like
Yeah. I know. See, I was before that. Like, I never had the Pokemon. I remember Nintendo. Like, Nintendo came out when I was young, but I just was never really a gamer guy. There was a couple games I got into. I remember like Baseball Stars. He used to play with my buddy Cease, and you can make your own players, name them and stuff.
mm,
Of course, the Blades of Steel and Excite Bike, those classics. So, but I used to go back in my day. We used to go to it's called Wizard's Castle, the arcade. You know what I mean? Where you got to go put quarters in, or you take nickels and you let train run it over, and then you can use it as a quarter. You know,
say
fake slot.
word. Y'all would like really come up with all kinds of shit to get some extra.
Oh yeah, we used to take the bread ties too, and you could empty all the candy machines, bro.
Yeah, that's
You
what.
gotta be innovative when you're a kid sometimes, right?
Especially
You
if you
gotta,
gotta hit the arcade.
so, yeah, exactly, bro. These high scores got to be met, bro. My name got to be there, So
Remember the Center Mall arcade?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Mm,
That's Wizard's Castle. That's
right,
what it was
right.
called, Wizard's Castle.
That came
It was
from
awesome.
that place was rough, yo. I don't know about that, but that's what we're getting from the chat.
That's sick, though. Yeah, I remember the girl with the apron. You had to give her your money. She give you some coins, and you'd be playing Double Dragon, whatever.
That's cool
Oh, yeah.
though.
I
Yeah.
am older.
Nah, but it's that's why it's like it's a different reality, but it's also interesting, and it does come with it. Like an epiphany I had is like had this Kendrick album that just came out, dropped in like the '80s. Everyone would have listened to it like 7 times by now, and now most people have
Mhm.
probably heard it like max once and a bit. Like the number of people that actually played that shit in full twice back to back is not high, and that's a huge thing that
No, well,
changed.
well, yeah, because there's almost a template to be followed now if you want to be in that. You know what I mean?
I th-
The mainstream, like,
nah, I think it's something.
unfortunately.
I got yo. Let's check it. When you were young, video games were excite bike. Video games be fucking
Yeah.
lit now. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
people act like yo. People got mad attention spans. Like if you talking Marvel movies and shit, like people wildly focused. It's just like I don't think our lifestyles encourage sitting there and listening to music. That entertainment capacity got phased out the way that it used to be back in your time, where you would just have albums playing as the backdrop to shit as a collective group thing. That
Well,
wasn't so like even by my age, it was all headphones. It was all solo.
yeah. Like I feel like now it's so easy for you to go from watching TV to listening to music to talking to your friend. Like it's all just movement of your thumb. So
Super
it's
facts.
hard to like. Why do you put your time? You're like, I'm not. I'm gonna try this different. It's like you're always trying to find that serotonin or whatever, like that. You mean you want that satisfy your need for the digital or whatever? Like you mean it's terrible. I don't like as we're talking about this. I'm what I'm realizing is I grew up in a way better time than it is now. Like I feel bad for the kids now. So
Super different time. Yo, the one thing to their benefit is I'd be talking to like, let's say you were 17 right now and we were having this conversation. Chances are you got a full studio in your crib and you've already recorded over 100 songs and you've already got like 6, 7 years of practice in the game and you're not even 18 yet. That's the flip
well,
side.
I agree, and that's why there's Spotify and all this. I was gonna say that too, because that's the thing is it gives more opportunity, right? You know what I mean? But at the same time,
Then you have to hear every 16-year-old's track as as an
yeah.
old person.
Well, you know what? Though? You know what? Honestly, even like when I hear a 16-year-old track, just like if it's all about like if they're seriously in and they're trying, they're gonna grow, bro. They're gonna get better.
Facts.
Like more 9 times out of 10. So to hate on a kid that's 16, like you're fucking shit, bro. Like, you know what? You're just probably mad at him because you're not doing anything to take a risk. Making music is a risk and like putting yourself out there. So you know what I mean? It's almost like you're being naked or whatever kind of deal. Like it's like people will say, "Oh, this girl's like brave. That's brave. This like that's making music or any kind of art, like a painting or anything, putting it out there. I mean, it takes guts, and you're gonna evolve. Everybody, I always say, with grind equals growth, right? You grind at something, you're gonna grow. You're gonna get better, whether it be music, working on cars, doing interviews like you do. You know what I mean? Got to put in the time on anything. So, like, I encourage these 16-year-old kids, even if they're sucking, but like, at least they're putting energy into that instead of like breaking into my car or doing something stupid. You know what I mean?
That's true. And I think though the thing is with the accessibility, what really changed is you're just hearing everything now. Like you're actually being exposed to a lot of stuff that existed back in the day, but you wouldn't have heard it because that shit never left its hood. Like you know, it never made it out the hood. It existed. It might even be on
Yes,
YouTube now, but none of us would know to Google it. But that, cause yo, like
absolutely. Yeah.
so it's like I think people be wildly jealous that kids be getting famous and a little bit off of some shit that they perceive as low effort that those kids are not even trying to be hip hop on, and there's some like generational stuff happening there. But end of the day that's like a little bit tangential. Back to like you though. So you're like 9, 10 ish. You be cruising around with boom boxes, discovering hip hop and whatnot. Are there like any rappers around? Are you getting like this desire to get into the hip hop game at all, or are you just more of a fan of the culture and the era of life?
Definitely at this point, I'm still just like a fan. I'm like, I'm just enjoying the music and like I have my favorite artist, but at that point, I have no like, in, like I wasn't feeling like I'm gonna be a rapper. Like I wish I could be a rapper or do this because when I was younger, there was like for me to do that, I would have to like go to Dr. Dre's studio, kind of like where's a studio around here? How much is a studio? You know what I mean? Like you said, the opportunity wasn't there, so it never really crossed my mind. I could just go to the park and ride my bike. Like that was the opportunity I had, right? So I
Mm.
was just enjoying it. Definitely just a fan at that point still.
And then like as you get into like high school and this stuff evolve, are there like rappers or people like that around you? Does like things evolve a bit?
100%. I remember my like I was in grade 9. My homie, he's a DJ now, Danny, DJ Delight,
Mm.
D'Angelowski. He came up, man, and he gave me the Tupac CD. He's like, or it was actually a cassette. He says, "Let's go to the library. You need to hear this." So we go there and put in a thing, and he plays me "Keep Your Head Up." And they just run through tracks. Right? I'm like, oof. And then that was when like I really like became a like a super fan. Like I was like, oh, like I want that now. I wanted to learn about Tupac. You know what I mean? It wasn't just about his music. I'm like, oh, this guy intrigues me. Like the way his character was and stuff. And then that's when I started like listen to it all the time. Then what? The more I listened to him, then that's when I started to think like I feel like I could like I'd rap along. I'd be like, man, I feel like I would say this if this was my song. And I started getting down those kind of thoughts. So I feel like that's when the seed of that was. I was probably like 14.
Do you
My homie had
remember
been.
any of like okay specifics on that? Like do you remember okay I heard this Tupac song and I would have flipped it like this as a 14-year-old?
I can't say I remember like that. I remember just being like, I wanted to ingest every word. I was like, oh,
Mm.
like I was just, I'm like, even the way I make my music now, like, I'm not really a bar rapper. I'm like, I like to tell like a story. Like I always say, like, I don't write my lyrics, I write my legacies. What I'm trying to do. Like, I want you to listen to my
Ooh,
songs and learn
I like
or
that.
stuff like that.
I
You know
like
what I
that.
mean? So I'm not trying to rap to be you to be like, oh my God, he's so cool. He said something so cool. Like, that's not like I appreciate bars. Don't get me wrong, but that's just not the way because the way I grew up, rather because like the Tupac and the music I used to listen to, everything had a message or a
See,
a
that's a
structure.
wild thought, right? Because nobody's ever said that to me. That you were inspired by Tupac, and because you're inspired by Tupac, you're less drawn to bars and more drawn to purpose. That's a big
Bro,
one.
anybody who's trying to say Tupac's a bar rapper is lying, right? He wasn't a bar rapper. Not to me,
I've never heard
like compared
anybody
to what you
say
think.
it. I've just like, cause he's everyone's favorite, right? But then everyone's trying to be
He's my
bar
favorite too.
rappers, and I just never thought about that before. Yes, that's a great one.
So like I love Tupac, but like I feel like nobody told stories like Tupac and took it to a place, you know what I mean? And like
Mm.
talked about not just him. He talked about like this community and what was happening around. You know what I mean? It wasn't about like, hey, look at me. Whereas generally that's what most time rappers is it's about, right? Look at me, I'm the man. This, I got all this money, especially nowadays. Whereas back then, like for like hearing songs where he's talking about like Brenda's got a baby, like saying there's problems in the community, man. Like we all got to. You guys don't see this, like, you know what I mean? And that's where it becomes like therapeutic to me, where it helps me ingest things that see like there's problems. Everybody has problems, though. You know what I mean? You just got to deal with it some way. So that's why I'm like I said, I'm not a bar guy. I wouldn't say, but
No, I'm not
I
really a
still like
bar
bars.
guy
Though.
either, man. I put very little effort into quote unquote bars. I just write shit I feel based on things I think, based on whatever. And sometimes it's ludicrous. It just happens to come out in super weird shit. But like, nah, I don't think. So I think like when people go down the bars route, to me, it's more reminiscent of sports than trying to like tap into the musical energy. And I'm not an athlete with my music. I'm trying to be a weirdo artist.
I agree. I agree. It's definitely and like hip hop's a competition all around, but definitely with the bars. You mean that's why we have battle leagues, the king of the dot now,
Oh
right?
my
Like I
god,
understand that, and
but
I
that's
appreciate the crowd.
battles are sick though. When you really want to
Yeah,
talk
I
bars,
appreciate that.
battle rap is like the pinnacle of bars.
Exactly, exactly. I agree 100%, right? But like yeah, that's just not my lane really. I don't
No,
know.
I
I like
respect that.
I feel like I hear a song like when I hear a song then the hook says this and then the guy just raps has nothing to do with the hook. I'm like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like if I have a hook, my hook's gonna correspond with my verses. Like I want it to all,
Yeah, I wonder if that
tell a
ties
story.
into like back to what you was listening to when you was young, right? Because you was listening to that purpose music. All them songs had like real structure in that regard, and typically, like if you're found like my foundation is not in hip hop. I like adopt hip hop later in life, and rock is super about like themes and usually the songs make sense. Like Led Zeppelin will be making up fantastical universes and shit like that.
Well, I feel like that's how, like, for me, that like, when I'm listening to music or when I'm making music, that's how like if somebody's listening to my music, they like take it in and be like, oh, wait a second, that's just like me. Like he's the same, like you know what I mean? So to me, that's even when I listen to it myself, I like it reminds me who I am, where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like you said, where I've came from, all that shit, bro. It's like a vocal audio tattoo that I'm having for the rest of my life on my skin, but it's on my brain.
Mm.
So I'm just trying to enjoy it
Yeah, shout out
from the
Stay
fan.
Connected Studios for following. Appreciate that. That's always cool. So Twitch gives me a little dingling in my ears when people follow, and that's the beauty. Is Twitch is interactive, right? So DJ VTech showed up, and that's dope. So people just pop in, and it makes it more fun because it's more of a show
Yeah,
that way.
100%.
So shout
This
out
is how
all
you
of
grow
you.
networks.
It made it more fun because we tried the interviews on YouTube with no audience, and it was trash. Like it was just like it was cool, like you're doing it, but they were shorter. The second an audience kicked in, everything got more longer and chiller, and it was way more fun.
It's all about the interaction, right?
Yeah.
We all want the interaction at the end of the day.
Um, yeah, big facts. So like you're in high school and you've got like the Tupac influence, but like you said, you're in Hamilton, and I don't know a lot about Hamilton's hip hop scene in like the '90s. So like, is there like were there people around you that was also trying to rap? Is there like this little local culture to tap into, or are you just kind of doing it by yourself? Or
Uh, yeah, none of my friends I was growing up with, like none of them were like was into like any of the music. There was music though around. The scene was starting to get going there. Like back in the day, like I know for sure there's some old school guys who used to rap back in the day, like even like Detox. This guy's been rapping for like even longer than long ass time. So like so him and my homie Hess, I remember Hess showed me way back in the day the songs they had popping and everything. Then there was like yeah, Indie Fiends. There's guys like even way back like I don't even know how far it even goes back to even say like I would say it started this year because I wasn't in the scene like that,
right.
but I know it's definitely it's deep. It goes back. The scene's been popping. And it goes up and down. It's been a roller coaster, but yeah, yeah,
So in high school,
it's
you
crazy.
weren't so connected to it. You were just more getting inspired at that point.
I was just a fan, 100% for sure. Just in like I was in the building cars and riding dirt bikes around the streets and getting in trouble like that shit. Like not real trouble, but like I mean like people didn't like me riding the dirt bikes down the street, me and my friends. So but like that's the kind of shit I was doing, right?
Yeah, it
I
was.
wasn't thinking about I can make music.
I mean, that's fair to be, because there were no dirt bikes when I grew up in the middle of Montreal. Like that isn't a thing you do.
Missed out, bro. I'm telling you. A lot of the best motocrossers come from Montreal though, so they're out there. I know somewhere they're out there.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have access to it, because the places that are not Montreal are full of this shit. Like my girlfriend come from Howick, Quebec, which is like not far from Montreal, and she got all tapped into that BMX community and the motocross, and so it's like
Yeah.
it's adjacent, but like when you're deep in the middle of Montreal in the city, like there's no motocross. It's just like bicycles and city buses. Like we can take the bus everywhere. So like
Yeah, but it's the same here. Like there was no dirt bike, like nothing around here. Me and my friends just got dirt bikes and like I put it in my
oh,
backyard and I'd ride it down the train tracks, down there, and then we'd go down to Nash Road and there was like just an old field and we'd rip around the field and then ride back up the train tracks. So it's not that we just yeah, there was like no racing or nothing. We were just being riffraff and enjoying having dirt bikes.
that's wild shit still. Maybe I just wasn't like that cool or something. I just feel like Montreal police be locking shit down. I don't know. Maybe my misconception, and there was a whole bunch
Oh,
of
you were
dirt
playing
biking.
Nintendo. You were playing Nintendo, bro.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? So
That is
it's
true.
different. It's
But
like we were
well,
excited.
that came
Kids
a
can't
bit
bug
later. I was still like outside a bit. Like my parents would be like, "Get the fuck out and go to the park." I still come from like that
you.
time, so like you would be at the park and shit. But like we was in like the middle of the city. Like it's not like connected to where dirt biking would. Like you got to be somewhere near like country to end up with anybody being like, "Let's grab that dirt bike."
I don't know. I don't even know honestly know how. I really started getting into the dirt bikes. Yes, anything just with the engine, I like it
Mm.
automatically, right? But, oh, I actually I do know how I got my first dirt bike. Is 'cause my dad had a Harley, and then of course so then I was into motorcycles because he always had motorcycles, and then he got me a motorcycle for well dirt bike for $70, and I took it all apart, rebuilt it all back up. I ended up having to clean the points. I got it all going. Then I traded it for RM 250, so it was sweet.
That's
But that
dope.
was my first dirt bike. So I guess it was because I wanted, like, I was just, it was more of some. My dad got me a little project, I guess, is more where it came from. Then once I got the first dirt bike, then I traded up, and like then I went. Now I want to have a dirt bike all the time. From like until I got a car. So from when I was like 15 till
How
like
fast do
18,
dirt bikes go?
you the 250 really flew. I think it would probably go like 80 mph or something.
That's
It
fast,
was really
fast.
fast, especially down the train tracks, right? We'd be like racing the train would be going. You think it's a speed train? Just sink right by it. Oh, I got scars on my arms from this shit from the train tracks. Yeah. It is what it is, bro. It's fun. Scars are stories. Scars tell stories, right?
No, that's. I mean, you were also having some fun times. Like that's. Nobody's told me about this. Like nobody's been like, bro, I got the dirt bikes and I was cruising. Nobody said that to me before, really. So that sounds wild.
Just the smell, just the smell gets me excited, bro. On the dirt bikes. Like
Did,
I'm going to Nitro Circus June 10th, so I'm pumped for that with all my childhood buddies.
what's the Nitro Circus?
It's like it's like a bunch of X Games stuff, like how you're seeing the BMXs and it has skateboarders and dirt bikes. They're all doing backflips and all kinds of crazy shit. It's gonna be
Okay,
crazy. Like that's kind of I love that shit, man. That's for sure my favorite shit.
that's fair.
You're missing it.
No, I mean, I went to like one of these things one time and I watched the show, and the parts where the people were doing things was dope. The parts in between was terrible because it was like 20 minutes. It was like a monster truck show with BMX dudes doing BMX shit or whatever. And
Yeah,
man, a monster truck fell over and it took them like 20 minutes to get this fucking truck out the way or whatever. That shit I can't, I was like, I had no patience for. But like,
yeah. This is,
I was really impressed with the dudes doing their BMX shit, like doing the flippy flips, and like I was like, okay, that's pretty next level. Like I got into cycling pretty heavy in the last few years, so I do fucks with the athleticism and like I do fucks with the motocross people in like a conceptual way. It's just like I never. It's just not around me. It's like it's just never. Nobody talks about it. It's just never around. But now I'm like,
but
it sounds dope.
BMX is what I had. Like that's what I was into before that, right? Me and my friends just had a little crew. We rode around, bunny hopping shit and jumping stuff and wiping out. It was good times.
Those
Like
people are in
that's
Montreal for sure.
yeah, exactly. But like you know what, man? Like just to be a kid, like that's where you learn boundaries. Now you figure out what you can really do and what you can't do sometimes. You know what I mean? And you learn how to build your confidence up or challenge yourself or like get picked on by your friends and just laugh about it because you're like, you don't jump that, you pussy. Like, you know what I mean? That's builds character. I think that shit.
Definitely does. Especially with the freedom. That's the one thing y'all had that we don't have is freedom. The second the cell phone got linked up in my life, my parents could reach me. And that shit happened before I turned 18, and that shit changes everything. But,
Yeah. See, when I was young, the phone stayed at home on the wall, bro. Nobody could call me once I left the house. Like you said, I was free.
because you all remember, like, there was a time where an hour could disappear and you could lie.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now to be like checking your location, it should be like check it. Like everybody is the police now. Like
Yeah,
people be like, oh, you're not answering my message. I see you're online. Like, and they send you a question mark. Like, listen, man, I'm talking to somebody or whatever, right?
but I
Not
leave,
allowed to not be available.
I leave people on red by accident all the time, and then I have to explain to them that I clicked on you by mistake, and I'm super sorry. But that's what happens, person. Like,
Yeah, that's not to take it personal, man, but people do, right? Like,
super
even
do.
like if somebody doesn't respond to me, I'm like, whatever. They don't respond after.
Well, I usually
Some
just
people do.
assume that people who like don't respond that quick, okay, people who don't respond quick are busy, and I respect that life. And people who respond mad quick are either nerdy or busy or not busy. Because nerdy people be busy but somehow still answering everybody. I can't, I hate notifications. But like otherwise, man, like it's what it is. It's people who are not that busy and looking to get busier that tend to be more demanding. I find on the internet.
I feel like it turned into a lot of, oh, what are you saying tonight? It's like they're just asking six people what they're saying tonight, looking for the best bidder. Like I ain't trying to bid up to see if I'm like
Ooh, I
I'm
like
basically
that. It's facts. That's exactly what it is. The bidding war of what's my best option of the available. There's a
yeah,
non-committalness to that I'm not a fan of.
yeah. Well, you wouldn't have did that before. Pick up the phone, and be like, hey, like, or you would. It'd be a lot more effort now. But now you can do it. Six people in 5 minutes. Be like, okay, I'll see what comes back.
Cancel
Like, don't even
indiscriminately.
send that message. Don't send me that message. Just keep it. Like, take me out the group.
Yeah, I've
Well, you know.
wildly seen people double book themselves as performers. Like, I'm like, how? Because they're not paying attention. It's all digital, and they two shows the same day. I'm like, what? That's wild shit.
I've had two shows in the same day, but it's been like I know only one's earlier than the other.
Yeah, no, this was more like some. You could tell it was just some nobody was paying attention in the DM shit.
Yeah, like you can't be go do a show and be like, okay, I gotta go to my next show. See ya, thanks. Like
Or
that's not cool.
you can if you're like everybody understands ahead of time. Like, I mean, there is a degree of like here and there-ness to it, but there's more like when you can, because the social media world of non-committalness that you're describing, I find people just be wildly saying yes to shit knowing they can back out. So
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's crazy. Or they get like just shit just changes and they like whatever. I feel like when you have a actual verbal agreement, like when you look me in the face or even we talk on the phone, I say, so Tuesday, right? And you're like, yeah. I feel like it. I don't know. You're less likely to back out, but you still gotta back out though. I backed out of shit. I ain't gonna stand. I don't back out either.
I try
Back out.
not to. I was really bad about that shit when I was younger, and it got me nowhere. And then I realized it's bad politics to back out of everything. It just burns
For
bridges.
sure.
Because people stop inviting you to shit if you back out of everything. That was the big lesson I learned.
Well, you are a brand, and we're all a brand. You know what I mean? You represent your brand everywhere you go,
Mm.
whether you have a name on the brand or not. You know what I mean? Like you said, if and then people start being like, I'm not fucking with that brand no more.
It's kind of exactly
You
what
know?
it is, even if you're a mechanic, whatever. But so yeah, what happens after you deal with high school? So you finish up that stuff, you're tearing it up with dirt bikes and all of that. You're into fixing stuff, and at this point, music's not really like a focal, is what I understand.
At this point is when I turn to cars,
Mm.
street racing.
You got into street
Got my
racing, like for real reals,
Oh yeah, we used to street race all the time,
like
every
Fast and
weekend.
the
Like
Furious.
talking to me like that, bro. Fast and Furious.
Bro,
I was the
I'm a
muscle car
city
era,
boy.
bro. I was before these guys came out with their mom's Civics. We slide around the corners and shit. Like what? So when I was like, obviously like Civics came out a little bit. Mm, I'm trying to think of how old I was when they started bringing out these Civics. I was probably like early 20s. But before that, there was no like fast Hondas or nothing like that. You know, when you had a four cylinder, you went and got groceries in it or whatever. If you had a fast car, it was the V8, and that was it. That was in the talk.
Yeah,
Back then, it was like a lot of Mustangs and shit. But my first car was an '84 Fiero, four cylinder.
and you would be,
Bucks.
and then that leads into street racing.
Well, that leads into it absolutely does because my buddy Jerry, he has the Mustang, and so now before I even got my car, I would go with him cruising around. He'd be racing. So I'm like, oh man,
This
okay.
is
So
just
I got
like
the
you see
Fiero.
the next man's, and you guys give each other the signal, like you on, and just start going.
Yeah, you'd be cruising beside each other, and you'd be like, you hear him drop a gear, like you just know.
That's
And then
wild.
you hit the light, whatever. Then if you lose on the light, or a lot of times you'd race off the light, and if it was close, then you would go on the go, or if you're going to go, it's close, then you go at the light. But if you just smoke the guy one way or the other, then it's like, and the guy know he want to try again, right? But that's
That's
what we used to do all the time.
that's amazing. So you're like,
And like,
does that like,
pardon?
is there like an organization to this? Like, if a whole bunch of y'all are doing this, is there like a league or something?
Hamilton has a huge, especially back then, like street cars. Like we like they go park down the Queenston Mall or down Strathern, all the way down the other Nash by Nash now. Sorry, and there's like it'll be like a car show. Just so many cars pull in, and then what it would be then, and then you'll just hear them all start up, and then it's like a parade of all these nasty cars, and then they would go down by the Spectator, and they would you would set up the races in the parking lot, go down the Spectator, and you'd be like, okay, me and you are gonna race. We'd pull over, we'd wait for the light to turn red, pull out, boom. Next two guys, boom. Just like crazy like that. Or Eastport Drive. Just it just used to be like that, like crazy. But that was before like they could come and take your car and crush it. Like they couldn't do none of that stuff. Like now, back then they would like they might you might take your car for the night or something, but you could get your shit back. You know what I mean? They were now if you got caught serious, they could take and go. Right? Like it's different.
Uh, so that's another example of how life was maybe more fun back in the day. I would argue life was more fun.
Well, honestly, though, I think it has to do with the people were less reckless too. Like these guys with this Hondas be racing through red lights and around corners and endangering other people. When I was street racing, I was never like if people are by me and we're
Mm.
not gonna race, we'd pull down, drive like 30, let the people get ahead. We like it's good, right? And then you boom, you go. You don't be like to the traffic like these guys do
Okay.
now.
So you're
That
saying
you
people
can't be.
took it too far.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. That's Fast and Furious. That's what Fast and Furious happened. Now everybody thinks they're fucking Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, and they're like crashing their Civics all over the place. And like, there's not muscle cars crashing like crazy back in the day. Like, I'm sure there was some accident, but like, not like these guys are like sliding, like driving reckless. You know what I mean? There's between street racing and reckless. Now they call it street racing like reckless street racing. Like they think it's cool. As long as you get to the other end first. Like, no, you only got the other end because you risked three people's lives. Like, that's not a win.
Yeah, it's definitely a
It's not.
different vibe. And so you were like immersed into that culture, and that's kind of your main focus, and you're working with cars and whatnot. And how long does this phase last for?
Um, Definitely, I would say until I was about 26. I would when I moved out. I went moved out to Brantford when I met my girlfriend.
Right.
My own girlfriend. I bought a house and all that. So when I moved out there, I kind of stopped working on the cars because I didn't like. I had a garage in Hamilton. Like my guy's like my dad, basically. Ray Way. He taught me everything about cars and all that. But my car stayed there, and I had the garage to work on that. But I went to Brantford. I didn't have no garage. None of my buddies that race cars were there. Like so,
Mm.
changed up.
So
Changed up.
so what is like the new fad over in Bramford?
Brantford, there's some cars there, but it's not like how Hamilton where like people are cruising around town street racing and that. Like they're like there's like you might see like 8, 10 cars or something like Brantford, but like you go to Hamilton, like 80 cars, 90 cars, like they're on a good night. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like crazy cars. Too. Some guys like trailer in their cars in because they got parachutes and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But like,
but
so
yeah, I don't know.
so what do you get? What do you get up to once you move? Like, what takes over as your passions?
Well, when I was probably I would say part of my transition, I was playing a lot of ball hockey from 18 to like up into my late 30s. So I was playing a lot of ball hockey, and I was actually started getting into working out, and like I started having a job stuff. You know what I mean? Like living with my girlfriend. I honestly thought like I was moving towards the whole settle down thing and all that. I guess. I mean, I was just doing what I thought. I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna be a better man than my dad. That's why that was my attitude kind of thing. But not knowing me, maybe that wasn't my path, right?
Right. So that you're basically following the what you're supposed to do path until for how long does that go on?
Well, I had so like till I was 32, I only had two girlfriends. So I had one girlfriend from 18 to 25, and then I had the other one from 25 to like 32. So that was yeah. So once after that, I was like, I'm very content by myself, and I didn't even know that.
Right.
You know, what I mean? Like, and honestly, big reason why it was like honestly the final factor. Like, but one for me, anyways, in my heart, it was like this girl doesn't care nothing about what I care about. Is one of my buddies, Chris Slack. He came to me. He's like, oh yeah, I make music. Then I was like, oh shit, this is my opportunity to actually get a chance to record because when I started as Tupac, like I said, I was starting like making up my own song. I was like almost like a closet rapper in my head. Like I wanted to do it, but I had no means. Now all of a sudden I had the means. And she's like, "Oh, you're not fucking doing that. Embarrass me, this and that." And I'm like,
Ooh.
"What?"
Oh, those are not good words to hear. If you're like, I want to be a rapper and embarrass me, that's not nice.
Yeah, yeah. And like she hated my car. And she hated that I have a dirt. Like all the stuff that I loved, that was like no bueno on her books, right? And I was like, you know what? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Like I understand compromise, but I'm not giving up everything I love. It's
Facts.
not fair.
That's not what it's supposed to be. Yo, I mean, when I approached the relationship this time around, it was not my first rodeo. So I came in and I'm like, here's what's up. I'm a rapper. And this is the
Yeah.
most important thing in my life. Now, you can always be important. But, like, high key, I can't promise you that in a moment where like, I don't know what And now I've been with her for a very long time, so evidently she's now very entrenched into my life, and I don't know that I would be so callous with my words. But yo, from day one, she knew that this is what it was that I cared about, and that was dope because she backed it. But like if she had been like, "That's not it," I'd be like, "Nah, this isn't about compromise. You're trying to keep me from being me."
See, I think what happened here is the girl I was with missed the picture, whereas your girl didn't. Like, you got to see that if I'm that passionate about this, I could
Hmm.
be that passionate about you too. Like, I could love
Facts.
stuff like this at this level. Why do you not see that instead of saying, "Don't love that, just love me"? Like, be like, you know what? So,
Ooh.
like, I
Yeah, I see what you're
appreciate
saying.
you. Pardon?
Said I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think like your girl appreciates that. Like, you're that passionate about something. Like, she knows you're not worried about going to find some little hose or get up to no good, or you know what I mean. She knows, oh, he's at the studio or he's doing his podcast. Like, he loves that shit. Like, you know what I mean? And he loves me. So like that's why what she gotta be mad about. You know what I mean? But not everybody sees it that way, but
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
feel like that.
struggle with that stuff. So you're in like your early 30s then when you get an opportunity to start music, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I didn't start rapping till I was 32. Well, no, I was like 31. I might have been 30, but I never recorded my first song. Well, the first one I recorded myself, I was 32 because I did it. It was called Happy Birthday. And I recorded it on my birthday. I took the Friday off. I recorded my first song ever in my life. But I had one before that. I was probably like 30. I might have been 30 or 31. I'd say, yeah, somewhere around there.
That's
Trey
wild.
Deuce.
So like,
That's when I actually.
yo, cause it's wild to me, right? Like I started rapping late in my head at like 24, 25. And you're saying you started at like 30, right? Because I'm feeling like I started late. Because I mean, I really like I hitting my 10 years now of like doing it proper. I would say, or like seriously. Um, Now, and I'm 34. So like you be like starting only a couple years back in my life, so to speak, and you still like running it. So to me, that's super noteworthy because not a lot of people my age be doing fuck all with creative passions unless they're making money off of it directly. But you enter the like, nah, I'm gonna go spend money on music and shit now in my early 30s. Well, like, what made you do that? That's a wild thought for me.
Why not do it? I wanted to do it, bro. It's like I said, like I want to write my legacy. You know what I mean? I want to have something that like it's just forever, right? And honestly, it's like therapy for me when I'm writing the music. It takes you to a certain place. It's just like when like same thing like riding a dirt bike. When I'm riding a dirt bike flying through the woods, I don't think about anything. No stress, nothing about work, nothing about anything. You know what I mean? The music does the same thing. If I'm
Mm.
having a bad day or like something's going, some stuff's out of your control and you can't fix it. And sometimes you have something that can fix it. For me, that's usually music and weed. You know, but you know what I mean. But like honestly, like some people it's painting. Some people they want to go for a run. Whatever it is, your thing, you got to do it. And honestly, it's just it was in my like I knew I wanted to make music, and the fact I was down I couldn't. It almost made it. You know when you can't have something, you want it more.
Mm. Yeah, I do know that.
And then now I got it, and I can do. Honestly, when I moved from my girlfriend's house, I moved in with two guys, my buddy Slack and my buddy Whitbone, and these guys are like they're like in bands and all this shit. And then that's when I found out I could play drums. I started playing drums then. Like I always wanted to play drums for my whole life, but there was no chance that I'm getting a drum kit. But then they brought an electric drum kit, and then we started a band, the Never Will Be's.
So you did it like all with an electric drum kit.
No, I had. So this is I get obsessive with stuff. So like, they brought the electric drum kit, and then I started playing it. And they're like, "Well, you play drums?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so they're like, "We should make a band." And so as soon as they're like that, I went and bought an acoustic drum kit, and then I had up having this like $4,000 black pearl drum kit, double hi hats. Like I just went off, bro. You know what I mean? Every week I'd be going buy a new cymbal just because. And in Brantford, that's really where my like I got into music because the circle of people I was around was very musically oriented. So they're the ones who got me like into like I always seen how I could record myself and like play the drums and we're making songs and like how I see how we can put the like you mean understand the structure. I see how we're doing this. You know what I mean? I learned a lot. Definitely, even still to this day, I still fucks with all those guys. You know what I mean? And they still making music. I'm still making music, but definitely they let me get my outlet going, get my feet wet.
So you're basically a drummer before you're a rapper?
So the deal was, so me and Slack made a deal. I said, listen, I'll play drums, but I want you to record me a rap CD. That was the deal. So then, but then we never ended up finishing my CD till like later on. But yeah, so definitely, like my first performance live ever was I was a drummer.
And how,
I played drums.
so you've done both rapping and drumming. Which is a more fun performance?
Uh, I think it depends on a lot on the crowd, right? For sure. But for me, I definitely like the hip hop when it's good energy. But for because when I went and did my band, it was just me and one guy when we were performing. And then after I was in a like I had a country band just a little while ago too. I was a drummer and we have some songs like I rap and drum and whatever. But playing with that band, I it was really fun because we can go play anywhere. You know what I mean? So, but I would say I like the hip hop better, just because mostly because there's a lot less stress, like trying to maintain five guys in a band and everybody's shit, right? So it's a
Mm.
lot more work. I love both, I guess. At the end of the day, as to answer my question, I really like I love to play the drums. It's fun. So
So
that's my instrument.
so you're playing the drums. Do you guys like tour or go around, or is it more like local?
No, we were just local. We local, but we had just got started, and the COVID fucked us all up. Then we weren't doing gigs, and then now my one homie he moved out east and that, so that's kind of the wheels fell off that now. So that's why I'm just back harder on the hip hop now, and now I'm focused on just getting like doing me instead of everything else, right?
So you're doing the
Because I'm getting
drumming
old.
thing. Well, around what year do you start the drumming, or like that phase?
It was probably the same. It was like the same time. Like my pretty much my whole out like being able to create, becoming a creator with music was around the same time. Like when I left my girlfriend and moved in with my buddies,
And
there was the three of us
so
living.
what? So like around what year was that?
Oh jeez, I was 13. 13. Like
2013.
I'm trying to think 13 years ago.
Oh,
So
13.
2000,
2008 or 9.
2009.
Okay.
I think it was like late 2008, 2009.
So in
Pretty sure it was
2008
2000.
or 9, that's when you start getting into the drumming and starting to do your buddy as the studio and you start recording then. I know you guys didn't finish the CD, but did you finish any songs back then as a rapper?
Yeah, yeah. My first song was to a Mob Deep Getaway. Use that beat. And then we actually finished the CD about a couple years after. We finished a 13 track CD, but we never ever released it or nothing. We never, he still has it on his computer, he told me actually.
Huh.
But then what happened is I moved back to Hamilton, and then I started like going to Envision Studio out here, meeting some people out here, and then eventually I bought Envision Studio. Now that's my studio because he was like, oh, I'm closing up. I was like, what? That's crazy. Like, what are you doing with all your stuff? He's like, I'm gonna sell it. I'm like, well, then I'm buying it. I'll
That's
just start
wild.
learning this stuff.
Okay, so basically you put a you guys make the CD while you're still in Brantford, and what are you rapping as at that point?
Mr. Burns.
Okay, because I know I met yours, bro.
I'm a little self-made too. I've always been saying self-made since the day first day. See, that was just my little thing, right?
Right, and then so you come through, and what's your like style like back then?
I would say it's the same kind of style. Like, well, I definitely evolved more, but I'm definitely still on like a storytelling and have structures to my songs. Have the hook, maybe have somebody sing on a hook, or you know what I mean. I still doing kind of the same thing, but just not. I think I'm on a higher level now.
Right.
I was trying to do back then what I'm doing now, maybe, you know, like I still have the same direction. I was trying to tell my story. Like I said, I wasn't trying to sound cool, make bars or something. I was just trying to, when I hear a beat, I'll hear a hook right away or something. And then once I hear the hook, then now I'm going to tell something that correlates to that hook. And then it just kind of all goes together as soon as I feel a beat, I'll feel it. I'll be like, yeah, this beat, I like it. Like my song,
Mm,
Blessed. I'm feeling blessed. Next thing I know, I recorded the hook that night. And then I didn't even do the verse until like a year later because I was waiting for my one buddy's going to get on it with me and that. So yeah, that's how that one panned out.
that's fair. Sometimes waiting on buddies can be a frustrating experience, is what I've learned with the features game. Um, it is.
But you know what sucks is when I go do shows, then all my new songs are like I do because we're having a studio. Yeah, it's easy to get collabs and features. Like you guys are like, oh, want to jump on this or hey, can I jump on that? Like it just happens organically lots of times, right? And like I said, I've never been about like, oh, it's me, me, me. So I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Like at the end of the day, it's competition too. If I'm getting on a song with somebody, I want to see if I can beat them or where I'm at with them. You know what I mean? I don't care. If you ain't doing hip hop for a like at the end of the day, it's competition. Like at some level, right? Like
That's
anything you
fair.
do, you want to,
Like you
if you
do
want
want to be the best at this, or at,
to,
even if
pardon?
it you do want to be the best at this, or at least like I don't want to look whack next to you. Like I don't know if I really care about crushing a man's on a song, but like I also don't want to be the worst rapper on the song because that would be shitty.
Yeah, I'm, I'm definitely not like. I mean, I think it's honestly, it's probably more competition with myself. It's like I'm testing myself. You know what I mean? See where I stand at. Like I'm not. It's not necessarily I'm coming because I'm gonna do what I do on the song. Now I'm gonna see how that stacks up to what you do. Like I'm not gonna try to talk what you talk on the song or whatever. You mean I'm still gonna do me either way, right? And like it's not like I'm trying to go to like body the guy. Like, oh, I want to hear your verse so I can try to top it. No, I'm gonna speak the verse that I want to do anyways. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna change my direction. So like, I think I said it wrong in the sense of like it is a competition, but amongst the guys too. But I mean, for me, it's I'm about challenging myself. I'm trying to always level up. You know what I mean? Try to get better or whatever.
Nah,
Learn
I
something.
definitely hear that, but it's also a challenge to get those songs performed in real life.
Absolutely, because then nobody like I just went through this for this show. Like I record all these guys, work with all these artists, and then when it's time, I'm like, hey man, I got a show cut. Oh, I'm busy. Well, I'm like, it's fucking a month away. How are you busy now, bro?
Bro, I
How
don't
you like?
understand that all the fucking time. Bro, I do not understand how you can't tell me like a month in advance that Saturday yet. Like either if I just don't get it. Like
But this is the same kind of people that be call me be like, hey Burns, can you drop everything? I'm on my way. I need this shit right now. And I'm like, okay, I got you, fam. And I do it. And I say, hey, la la, it's windy out. I got a green shirt on today. I feel weird. Like I want you to wear blue. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Stop. So I'm just dismiss me with the energy, bro. And when you come to me saying, hey Burns, what's up? And then, well, how come you don't help me? Like, 'cause I'm done helping people, bro. There's a point when helping becomes using, brother. You know what I mean?
no,
So
I'm bro. Like Chantel just like don't get him started. But meanwhile, I'm like you gotta understand. Sometimes you try to do things and then you need the cooperation of other people and then all of a sudden it's like nobody remembers anything that you ever did, and I don't want to be that guy because it's not very becoming to be like, well, I did shit for you but you got, but like you start to see like the bigger habit of like sometimes people don't give a shit, especially if it's like slightly inconvenient to their personal goals, and when it's convenient to their or immediate goals, then they're interested. Like, yo, if you want to do something a month away, it's because you're down for the cause. Like that requires commitment, and that's where it's like, okay, so people are fickle with it. Like I mean, I don't know. I'm going through that now as I'm trying to set shit up in the future, and I'm like, wow, man, nobody can commit to shit. Or like I'll send off features to people in that one where it's like, yo, I'm so down to be on the song. 8 months goes by, okay,
yeah, yeah,
and you're like, I don't even know if I like this song anymore. That's 8 months ago's vibe.
yeah. I agree with you. Like when it comes to me, like I ain't keeping score. But when it comes down to respect or disrespect kind of thing, bro. Like you know what I mean? It's the baseline. Like it's like I don't care what your balance is. Is your credit good with me? You know what I mean? Can you get the credit card? Like you guys start taking away these credit cards off these fucking guys, and they want to run up their balance. You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
way to
Like
put it. But it's not even about keeping score per se. It's just like
yeah, definitely not. I don't keep score because I
there's
know I
too
got a lot.
many people out there, and like it's more about like protecting energies, right? So for me, it's like if you can't at least be like excited about it, or that's the energy that might kill the vibe, and that's something that I have to protect the people that are like, not, I know it sounds weird, but like if you're curating an experience, it's kind of on you to protect the energies of the people you invite in. Like if you're the host of a party and shit, you can't invite everybody. You kind of like to some degree have to pay like attention because some people be like buzzkills and they just want to be buzzkills, and it's you don't want them to be, but they just choose to be.
Yeah, yeah. Some people just are looking for a confrontation sometimes to get drunk or something or whatever. But yeah, man. But like at the end of the day, like I like yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just I'm excited for like the everything being back, the shows and all this shit. So like I want to like I got my set this weekend. I got my set all set up, and my set's crazy. And I got my homie came back because, like I said, it goes down to the respect thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I don't see you for a year or something. I say, hey, yeah, got you. That's it, done. You know what I mean? That's how it should be.
Facts.
That's how I operate. That's how I operate. You know what I mean? If you're moving different, don't come try move with me then. You know what I'm saying? It should be end of a conversation. Yeah, yeah, done. Unless there's a legit reason, then okay. But a month away, there's a legit reason, bro. Come on.
Well, I mean, a month away, it's like either a really legit reason, like somebody hit me like, "Yo, come through on this date," but I'm like, "Bro, somebody hit me before you on the exact date at that exact time. I can't come through." That's a legit month away reason. But unless you can, in that degree, like be like, "Look, there is," but most people are just non-committal. It's more like I'm gonna see what's up that weekend. Is more the vibe, and it's like, nah, that's not like. I'm only stressing this because it might seem like I'm like whatever trying to create whatever, but like I've been like integrating back into the live scene in my city, right? And I'm seeing
Yeah,
how the shows don't start late because the promoters are fucking around. The shows start late because the rappers aren't there.
that's crazy.
They come
That's crazy.
late.
That
They don't show up on because if the rappers, if you're a promoter and three of your, let's say, names aren't necessarily on time, are you going to start your show not having a full roster, or are you going to let it be a little bit because this, that, the next thing? So it gets more stressing if you're the promoter. How do and like I started realizing, and it didn't matter what show I went to. It didn't matter. It was like all of them, whether I rapped at the show or not, except for the
yeah,
one time it was one act and it was their album release party. That was different. But anytime it was like multiple artists, it's like a chunk of them didn't come. And I'm like, that's so wild to me. So it's like this commitment thing. It's something that maybe it's just like the whole artist world needs to hear a little bit, because that's the reaction that regular fans have when they come to your show. Like when regular ass people, the ones that we want to come, actually show up, they feel like that.
that's crazy to me. Like I've never seen like I've done tons of shows and I've never seen like a bunch of guys never show up or coming up late. Some guys come late sometimes, but generally for shows like especially around here, like we'll have like there'll be like lots of guys in the bills and the guys will be there. What sucks is though as soon as they perform, they just everybody starts peeling off one by one, right? My
Mm.
set's done, I'm going home. So, but as far as like showing up, everybody's usually there, ready to have their time.
Yo, we got
I never,
different problem. They're there. They're just not in the venue.
yeah,
They're like, because here's the thing. What I'm realizing is most of us smoke weed.
yeah, yeah.
We're not really drinking like that. And so, like, we just want to smoke 6 joints and cigarettes in a row. A lot of people just want to smoke, and there's no inside smoking. So I've noticed that at festivals, it's people be like wildly at the show, and then inside, what's up, Linda? And then at like the bar shits, like, so they had to turn on the smoke. Like I did a show on Saturday, so they had to turn on the smoke machine at one point and fuck up the lighting because certain people were like lighting up in the back. But unless you're going to like that extreme, everybody's outside, and most people were cowards, so everybody's outside, not lighting up inside the bar, and so they're all missing the show. And that, but I don't know how to deal with all that. I do know that in my city, at least, motherfuckers wildly don't show up when they're supposed to, and it like, so I hear this and I'm like, yeah, that's that non-committal shit. But I don't know, maybe your scene is more tight. Maybe you guys do sound check. We don't do sound check.
Sometimes we do actually, and like we'll see how it is when we're coming back now with the scene. But like I'm speaking on it before, like the scene was pretty popping before. It started slow just before COVID. So, but we used to have like a bunch of promoters. It'd be like 2 shows in the weekend easily, right? And it wasn't a bunch of flop artists.
Yeah, that's wild. How, I didn't even know it was like that. I mean, we got a lot of stuff popping off. That I'm not gonna. I don't want to diminish anything on the Montreal scene. I was just commenting that I noticed this pattern of artists, but otherwise, shit's super lit, and there's a whole bunch popping off. But like, when did you start getting into the performing in the hip hop side of things?
When I came back to Hamilton is when I started doing hanging out with my homie Toxic, and then he took me to the one studio, kid studio, and then hooked up with that one guy Jake. He was always doing shows all the time. So then I just started doing shows, and then
So
that's why
what year was that about?
Was that probably like 2010 or 11 or something?
Okay. So you've been doing like live shows for like a decade then.
Oh yeah, yeah, easily, yeah, for sure. So, there's a bunch. Let's see my wall. I got a bunch of posters all on it. And shit.
Is that all you?
Yeah, yeah, and there were a bunch of ones. Like
Oh, say word. That's
shout out, got these printed out again. So we redid it, but yeah, it's just you know,
yeah, that's a
I got
whole.
this one highly anticipated.
That one just happened, or is that upcoming?
That's this Friday.
That one's
I have
upcoming.
actually
Yeah, that's lit. And where is
at
that?
the same at Club Absent,
And that's up by you in Hamilton.
King William downtown Hamilton.
Yeah, that's dope. Can the people cop tickets off you?
Absolutely, get at me $10 a ticket, man, and you can get them online too. I don't know the link, to be
Yeah, but
honest
if
with you,
you
but
so you can buy them online and shit, but if you can't cop them off Mr. Ross Burns, you should cop them off of Mr. Ross Burns. Is all I'm trying to say. That's the polite thing to do.
I tell you, brother.
So you've been doing it for a while, and I see you got some names over there, right? Like that's pretty fucking wild. So tell us a bit about your live performing experience. And is it mostly like in Hamilton? Like, is it like should I be going out to Hamilton to peep the scene because it's lit?
The scene's about to get lit again, I think. Like I said, we're about to see well, actually, the scene is pretty lit right now. I can't even say it's not because we got a bunch of these young guys that are going hard, like Wes Gray and his boys, the DNA crew. Like they're doing shows like every weekend. These guys, and then there's K Triggs. He's out here. So there's a generation of young soldiers coming up that are. I see they're doing like shows every weekend, every second weekend. So I don't want to say like I've already done one show, but like I said, I feel like it's coming back hard now.
Yeah,
You should definitely come on, rock on the show.
yeah,
Definitely come on.
bro. I'm saying is if I get booked in Hamilton, I'll figure that shit out because I gotta go say shit like I performed in Ontario. Because when you're not in Ontario, that's like a hotter sentence. I know it's weird, but like performing in Montreal ain't a thing to me. That's where it's always been.
That'd be dope for me, right? See,
No, for real. If you want to perform, bro, my homeboy CY right now just put up the fucking posting. I can link you with that shit. Chantal, if you're listening, remind me. And yeah, man, you just hit him up and be like, yo, I'll come through from whatever. And it's like end of June, June 25th. It's the same bar I was at last time, 2 days ago. It's fucking underground as fucking Montreal, but it's a vibe. It's that simple. Hit the man's up. You can get that shit. Get on the set.
yeah, bro, you come, like I said, man, you come through here too. I got shows coming up too. I'm gonna be throwing a show too. So if you're looking to get out here, you can come out here. I even
Bro,
got a spot. I got the whole studio.
that's
You
lit.
lay down a, you know what I mean? Make a weekend thing out of it, you know?
Yeah, that's totally a very viable thing we can set up in the future. I'm super interested in that kind of stuff for real because it's really good for TikTok. Like, super good for TikTok. Like, I know it sounds wild.
I
Sorry?
don't TikTok yet. I don't TikTok, but honestly, what I like about performing out of town and stuff and in different cities is it's like I said again, it's a challenge because now you got a bunch of people who don't know who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Nobody's there to say, yeah, I'll go Ross. Like, I went to shows go by myself or like just me and Eddie G, my camera guy, and I'd be going to Oshawa,
Hold
go
on.
do a
Eddie
show.
G's your camera guy?
Eddie G's Eddie G's been the least fuck. Oh man, me and him, he used to go like every weekend. I used to be doing shows. Like I was going hard that couple years ago, and Eddie would come all the time, and he'd be doing interviews and this and that, and he would get a bunch of pics of me and shit. And yeah, this is Hamilton, Eddie's Hamilton home over here, self-made studio.
Hmm. That's dope. I had the pleasure of talking to Eddie G. He's a cool dude. We did this shit good like a year
Nice.
ago. So you basically are performing live throughout your local scene. You're opening up for big names. Do you get to meet some of these people?
Uh, I'm not really like that, like a starstrucker kind of guy like that. You could, like, I know you could, like, meet, like, I opened up for Mad Child and that. And, uh,
You're like, I just did the shot. I don't give a fuck.
Joel Ortiz would have been cool maybe to meet, maybe, I don't know, but I met him, had a picture now with him, but it's not like I chopped up with him, but I did get a picture of Joel Ortiz. So, like, I guess I met him, but, like, to me, like, I mean, it's not like I sat down and chopped him up, like, like me and you are, you know what I mean? So,
Could you have?
but I did meet him.
But
So
like,
it's
if you
cool.
had wanted to chop it up with him, where you were like in a position, because I never did one of these shows where like you open up for one of these people. So I don't know. Like, is it like Mans comes in, does his set and dips? Is it like he sticks around, and you can chop it up with him? Like, I don't know what the vibe's like.
They're all different. They're all different, right? Some guys would be like, I heard like Snack would be at the show and he'd be like in the crowd drinking with the fans. Like, I have to be like, yo, what's up? Like, he's cool like that. But like, some guys are not like that, right? Some guys be like, I'm coming, it's my time to perform. When I'm done, I go. Right? So,
No, that's fair.
I don't know. It's cool either way, right? I can understand how they don't want to maybe like every night people say, "Oh, you're the man, you're the man." Like you mean this probably cause you issues sometimes and shit. You know what I mean?
Or they got to go on the road and just be at the next place and do the same shit.
Like I can understand a guy that wants to just come out when it's his turn, I guess, and keep it almost keeps the mysterious like in this up. You know what I'm saying? So then
Eh,
you want to go instead of being like, "Oh, I know he'll be fucking chilling in the crowd."
so,
I
ba-
know somebody's gonna like. Who knows what happens to people nowadays?
so yeah, basically like you're running through the part where you're going these shows, and then at what point do you buy the studio?
Um, hmm, I would say 2000. I think I built the booth in 2012, so I had the studio probably 2011. I would say probably I would say first I had a I think called a Roland Boss. It's like a portable recorder, and that's what I had first. That was my first studio. But then when I got like an actual computer with the interface and all that, yeah, I would say 2011
So you
maybe.
do you like at that point do you like open up the studio to people so that like you're like the guy people start coming to record at and whatnot, or is it more just you have the studio?
No, 100%. When I opened it up, I was recording way more people than I was recording myself. It's kind of always been that way for me, to be honest. Like I said, I'm huge about the culture and shit, right? So like I'll even show you right here. If you check out the booth, you'll see all the signatures on the wall for people.
Right.
Like I've been here recording and shit, right? So like that was more definitely until honestly until mostly now. Like now I'm starting to focus more on doing some solo music and stuff. Mostly the whole time I've been in the studios, like had my studio, and I've been recording way more people than I've been recording myself. But with that said, to me, it was also because in the beginning I was just recording tons of people for free because I was learning my art. I was learning it. You know what I mean? So I work with, but the more artists I work with, the better it was for me because I got different. Like I learned something different from everybody. You know
Right.
what I mean? So that was yeah, definitely I record a lot more people than I recorded myself for sure. That's just how it's always. Like I said, I'm about like I just love the culture and everything. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I'm the best rapper. You know what I mean? I don't think that. I know I can rap, but I don't think I'm the best rapper. Like at the end of the day, I just love like the whole thing, like mixing the mash. Like when you come here record a song and you're like, oh, that's pretty good, and then I start mixing that, and you're like, what the? That sounds fucking sick. You know what I mean? And then like, I make like your dream come true. That's just as good for me when I make my own song. You know what I mean? Like the satisfaction of that. So I really enjoy recording other people lots of times. Like especially when it's a banger song. You know what I mean? So I've recorded lots of different stuff, like covers, like people doing Elton John covers. To I recorded like the country band. One song by my side with the Eric Provo band I did. Like we did the harmonica and everything in here, all the instruments and shit in my house. So you know what I mean? It's always like I said, grind equals growth, right? Always trying to evolve and learn new stuff. Keeps me intrigued, I guess. You know what I mean?
So basically, you have a whole ass studio that you've ran for over 10 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
And you got all the peoples coming through, and from what I could tell, it's not free no more. But
It's not free no more.
but on top of that, you don't just do hip hop. You fuck with anything because, and that's harder because I've heard horror stories of recording drums. So like yeah, self-made studios. That's probably fair enough. And you got the whole everything there. But like to me, that's just like wildly impressive for like a portfolio stuff. Uh,
Respect.
because you're also performing this whole time as well. And so you've basically been pushing this. Is you like completely sustainable for you? You're just like, this is what you do.
Yeah, this is what I do. This is what I do when I bang 10 all day, and then I come home and I do music generally.
Mm.
I move or like I do other stuff too, but I mean, as far as like I would say, this is my main hobby for sure. And I mean, and like you said, though, I also make some money off it sometimes, whatever, right? But
I mean, if you could make any money off of it in Canada, it's fucking incredible. And I say that because like only 10% of fucking musicians in our country eat off their music. So that means 90% of people are not eating off their music.
you know what? That's because the money's in the production. I've made way more money off my studio as an artist, I'm sure.
Mm. I think a lot of us don't play the game right. Like high key, like I didn't know shit all about press kits until I started doing this interview show. I didn't know about booking agents. I didn't know what managers did. I didn't know what A&Rs did. I didn't know about digital CVs and all of the SOCANs. And then I learned all of that shit doing this shit. And I was like, man, on paper, I am like not it as an artist. And so I had to start rectifying that shit and making sure that like piece by piece, you know, my online portfolio of sorts is up to date, but not like in like a social media way, but more like where's the website that shows I can rap? Like what's the proof I can perform? How do you get that proof? You gotta go film your footage. And so I did like a bunch of shit, but none of it's online. You don't know it. There's no evidence. It doesn't matter. It never happened. You know.
Ah,
So
uh,
sorry.
hold all the stuff off.
No, it was just 2012 to 2016 era. So like, I actually realized I have a camera here where I have a performance back in the day where a bunch of girls were like super drunk on stage with me. So I'm like, I should probably get that, but otherwise nobody filmed shit like that. Or it was like the old days on like the shitty grainy Facebook phones, you know, like back in the days. Like it wasn't like now, and I wasn't on my shit. So the number of like there's pictures, you'll see a lot of pictures, but that's not proof
Yeah,
of it, you know. And then the music's all shit from back then, so you don't like how you know you evolve and whatnot. So like I learned really like big like yo, like this press kit shit is like storytelling so that when people look at you like it's more. And like so I had to learn a lot about the business side of how to be an artist, like the brand, the part that you were describing earlier, to represent it and how to do that so that it's not like you're just a hobbyist, but like you've actually got something like a monetizable service. Like I want people to pay me to rap. I got paid to rap this year. Somebody gave me money, not like for ticket sales. Nah, you did your 30-minute set. Regardless, here's your little bit of money. I want
yeah.
that on repeat.
That's that's the dream, right? But I don't know, man. Like it's like if that happens, it happens. You know what I mean? Like I never started rapping to try to think I'm gonna be a superstar. Like
Nah, you
Wayne
you
Gretzky
you definitely need somebody behind you that's gonna go do all that shit for you, cause you are too
just
kind-hearted, sir.
holds me down on that shit, bro. That's how I connected with you, right?
Facts, cause
So
yeah, I mean it's facts actually. More people need Chantal like people in their life for real.
yeah, she definitely makes my life easier in the sense of like she holds it down on like the online side of things and like because I'm in the studio trying to like make music and doing whatever, you know what I mean? So and I'm not just like I said, I'm not really into that. I'm not like that, man. So it definitely helps. Then that's what I mean. At the end of the day, I'm like that's what you need. At the end of the day, you need a team.
Whew.
You give me the world, doesn't matter. Your song's never gonna it's not gonna happen. If you don't have a team that sticks behind you and supports you for real, then like you know what I mean? Like I said back in the day, all these guys had like you had your crew, like Tupac had the Outlaws, Eminem had D12, like everybody had you had to have your support system. There has to be a support system in place, or there's no support. Like you know what I mean?
No, but it's even what you said is big there. So like it doesn't matter what support system you have behind the scenes, high key. Like yo, I have trouble getting six motherfuckers to show up to a music video shoot if I wanted it. That makes like yo, if you actually go look at my music video efforts, you'll see a huge ass lack of extras. That's how hard it's been for me to get motherfuckers to show up. So it's like, yo, I look at people who can get 40 dudes rolling deep in the hood type shit. I'm like, how in the fuck did you get 50 people to show up?
Yeah, that well, yeah, that's you gotta have some incentives, I guess. I don't even honestly when I do my videos, I don't even try it. I haven't even tried to do that kind of I know. Like it's just such a hard thing to do. commit to any kind of thing. And people are cautious too because, like I said, going back to like the whole even as an artist, like you're putting yourself out there, right?
Right.
So now if you make a video and then your friends are like, "What? Who the fuck's that loser rapper? Why in that guy's video?" Like, even though you're just doing it because you're my homie, now they're gonna hate on you because you're just, like you. It's like some people do it just to protect themselves, maybe feel like, oh, I don't really know what it's all about. I'm not sure. But if you're famous and blown up, then everybody wants to come because they know now it's oh yeah for sure I'm gonna look cool. It's on Ross's video. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
I definitely think there's a level of cloudiness to people's relationship with you. Facts. If people think that shit's gonna blow up, they don't want to miss the boat.
And then you'd be like, tugboat.
No, but for real, imagine you had the opportunity to be in a music video that was gonna be considered a classic. You'd probably want to be in that video. You'd make more of an effort. Whereas one time Carl Wolf did a music video and I could have gone and been in that music video and I just wasn't motivated enough to go in Carl Wolf's music video. Like, he just did that one song and that's what I know him for.
Well, that is what it is, though, right? What do you mean? We all make our choices, and there's a
Nah.
reason.
So I hear what you're saying with that. So you're basically running this stuff and then COVID kicks in and your band situation doesn't function in the direction you want it to go and you decide to triple down on hip hop and run this. That's what I.
This is exactly what happened.
So, how do things change for you with that? Is it just like more? Because it sounds like a lot of this is like you was already just doing music, and now you're just like pivoting into doing different music.
Yeah, like now I'm mostly like just doing like just work on my own music is it's way easier to focus on it. You know what I mean? I got like I work on my own time schedule, and it's just I feel so much organic. It's I'm doing it at like at my pace, and I'm enjoying it. Right? Like I got a bunch of songs in the bank. I'm just sitting on. Releasing some songs, whatever. What's happening now is I'm starting to like love it again. I feel like it was getting to a point where I was like, I'm not happy right now with like doing it. I mean, I was losing the happiness because I was feeling like I'm just constantly always doing in the studio all the time doing other shit, and it's like it also has big part of it was my job because I was like running jobs and shit like as a format. Like so when that was happening, my music side went, and then when I switched, I went to a different company. Now I'm like I started wanting to be get my creative juices going again. Like, you mean I wanted to do it. So then once I came back, I had the band, and I was still doing my rap thing too, but I was more focused on the band 100%. But then like, and I started falling off because at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with you, with this, like my whole self-made brand and everything, like I want to have artists. Like I would like to sign artists or like sign whatever you want to call it. I mean, like have artists that I know is like, this is my artist. I'm going to work with him, try to bring him up, teach him like help them. I mean, work together. That's what my ultimate goal is. Not at this point.
Yo, that's sick. I mean, that's also a really valuable goal because there's a lot of people out there that need a lot of help.
Yeah. Honestly, I was and like it makes me it helps like it feels good for me too. You know what I mean? So if I can, yeah, I don't know. That's just what music is for me, man. So I want to. That's how I want to continue making music. I want to keep rapping forever. Like, look at me, bro. Oh man, you know what I mean?
I don't know, cause like I'm
So
a little different. I want to be the guy with the old man beard rapping. Like I look at Black Dot and I look at like Method Man and all these dudes, and they're still Eminem's like 50. He's still rapping. I hear he's got a new album coming. Yeah, yeah. Just cut. I
right,
cannot.
you're 100% right. Like, that's why. But like,
Sorry. Yeah, it's good
yeah, you're
again.
right. I probably will never.
Like it,
Like, I'll probably never stop making it. But like,
I don't know. It's
I don't
just a
know. I
different
don't know, man.
world, though. Like now, because it's never been possible, I guess, in anyone's mind to be a 55-year-old rapper. But yo, Rakim still be doing shit, and Big Daddy Kane still. They're not necessarily like every day all the timing it, but like they still be out there. They just
Maybe I'm
haven't.
just, maybe I'm just, you know,
And I don't know.
started, bro.
Yeah, I feel like it's cool though that you want to take your ambitions and flip it towards helping other people. And do you do like you do all these music videos as well? Is that like something you're heavily involved with, or do you let other people do the music video stuff?
So my homie Josh Chiller at CT Media, shout out to him. He holds me down with the music videos all the time, and then and we just work together. Like we get like a little idea, then we go find a spot, then we shoot it out, and then like sometimes our like my one homie Schwal come and did that. Like when we did the song "Trippin'," he helped out with the camera on that too. So definitely heavily involved with that whole side of that too. And I really like that too. It's super fun, man. Like just doing that. I really enjoy it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, then now it's something that's permanent forever, right? Now I have that forever, that music video. It saved that time in my life. So I don't know, like a photograph, but way better.
Yeah, I never heard anybody describe a music video as it's almost like a self like a memory reel of some like I never saw it that way. To me, it's mad marketing promotion material. Like I have to make music videos, not like like I mean now I like it more, but at the beginning I hated doing them. It was more like I had to do them.
See, it goes back to exactly how I was saying that like I don't do it to try to think I'm gonna be rich and famous and make money on music. I make music because it's seriously like good for my soul. You know what I mean? If I was to make money, like, don't get me wrong. If somebody's trying to hand me a bag, I'm not gonna say no. But like I'm doing it because like I feel no stress that I feel like, oh, I gotta make some money for this because I have I have a good job. I have a trade, you know? So I'm all right on that. I'm more concerned about getting the feeling I want more than the money, I guess. You know what I mean? The release or the how I feel about the songs or just the
Yo, if
therapy
you
of it.
were like high key, if you were on TikTok, just saying that shit every day, like a one like 2 3 times a day, just had a thought and shared it with that tone of voice and that beard, bro.
Then that
You are in such a good place. I promise you. I'm just saying, man, because you be saying like really good shit here. It's not just vapid marketing stuff. It's just 20-year-olds are on TikTok. 16-year-olds are on TikTok. If you really want to reach the youth, that's where they be. And what you saying is fire, actually. And you can just
respect.
pull out your phone and be like, blah 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 blah, and that's a TikTok, dude.
I know. The one that dispenser I go to, she's talking about how she has like a big phone on TikTok. She's like, you should go on TikTok, then I can show you on my TikTok. And I'm like,
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. I understand it's the marketing key because Chantel was trying to get down to TikTok too.
it's way funner than the other ones. That's the only thing I can say in defense. Like the other social media apps make me feel stressed, and to a degree, I don't like to browse on them. TikTok is like, bro, I'm gonna learn what you like, and you're gonna like it, and you're gonna like it. I don't know what you like, but TikTok will figure it out, and it will be pretty fun. If anything, the problem with TikTok is you enjoy it a lot. Like it's just fun.
And then it becomes like another friggin' app to check on my phone. You know what I mean? I can just be in a constant cycle. Instagram.
Chantal's right. The girls love your voice. I saw that shit. I put smooth voice in my title of this video.
Smooth voice. Smooth.
I mean, like I love marketing. I can't help it, bro. I look at you and I'm like, oh my god, 20-year-old girls would eat this shit up, bro. You have no idea how like you could pop just
I'm an old biscuit.
but like I'm
Biscuit.
saying because it's your demeanor too, right? You'd be like wildly calm and gentle and pure in your intentions. You just want to help everyone, and it's so like authentic that you're the type of dude that would do really well on a TikTok because you have no desire to be fake about it. And kids like that shit. It might not work with people like in the older age brackets, but fuck them.
They need some inspiration and they need some guidance. That's what it is, maybe, eh?
That's how I look at it. Like I try to do a lot of things with the knowledge that sometimes little people watch you and you don't know that and haven't so like TikTok just lets other little people watch you, and when they find you, like you don't know, man. Like it could turn into bags, but I look at it like so I started this thing where I'm like hunting for Montreal hip hop, just anybody that rap in my city because I want to find all the English music. You can understand why English music's a more specific thing in my city than yours. But like I didn't know where to find 16-year-olds that rap until I got to TikTok, and then I started finding 16-year-olds that rap, and I said, you know what? All things considered, you can reach different kinds of people on a TikTok that you can never reach in conventional social media. even with paid shit. It's just it's all algorithm shit. So if you be out there with your music and affirming positivity and all that good stuff and whatever, and TikTok finds out that this group of people likes you, it's just handed to you like a fucking coin. It's just given to you. They decided they liked a book review I did, so they keep giving it to people, and it's gonna break 10,000 views or some shit. And I'm like, really? This? And it's never gonna be what you think. It's gonna always be giving you that this, and it's the weirdest shit. But it's like it's so unlike what its reputation is. That's all I can say. It's not the TikTok that the media presents to you.
I know my foreman loves it. He's on it all the time. He loves TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the stuff too. So like I see like or like my apprentice at work, he laughs at me about Facebook. He's like, "That's what old people have." I don't know how Facebook is this. I'm like, "Oh, he's 20, right?" Like, what? Who has Facebook? I'm like, I have Facebook.
I have Facebook. I love Facebook.
Yeah, thing, right? So I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. Not a young man, but like, I don't know. I don't know about the TikTok, bro. Maybe you're.
Or what you do is you get somebody to do all the work for you if they really don't want to do it, and then it's just a matter of that you just gotta look at the camera and talk, right? That's really the part that you have to do.
I can do that part.
I
I can do that part for sure. Honestly, for me, it's more about just like it's like the old man in me, like "Bah, bah, bah." When I was a kid, like that's what it's like. It's like how many apps do I have to be on to fucking make people happy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's I'm on the wrong app.
Facebook is totally not the best app anymore, to be honest. It's actually like it's hard to like really justify it, except for the fact that it's like I'm an old man in social media, so I'm really about that Facebook life, and I have all of my life is there. But from a marketing perspective, like look, from a local old man hip hop scene, and I have to put the old man there because the old man hip hop scene is on Facebook. If you want anybody under 25, they're not there. That's something I have to be on Instagram with what I'm doing with this media shit. And then I realized TikTok is also relevant because you're gonna get to the point where it's like you're like, yo, what's up, what's good? And you have to decide, do I want to trade phone numbers with this person or would I rather have a social media app? And then you're gonna get to the point where they only have TikTok, and you're like, "Fuck me! I don't want to lose this opportunity." But that's where the world is going,
Snapchat. That's how I ended up with Snapchat, right?
which is wildly relevant in Europe. We don't know how relevant it is because it's only for titties over here. But in Europe, they really, really like Snapchat, and they do things like look up other places. And there's actual legitimate music reasons for Snapchat that none of us talk about. But I found that out. But it's hot over there. And that's the thing is when you come, okay, because it's all music marketing, right? So if it's a question of music marketing, you got to be where people are. If it's a question of you as an individual, it's like, yeah, I feel you. So it's like consumer of the product, yeah, I get you. But as like a artist, to me, I want to be where people are. That's why I'm on this Spotify because that's what people I know listen to music on.
Yeah, I agree. That's the same reason why I'm on there. You know, my following sucks on it because I don't really push it at all. Yeah, that's the thing where I'm at the marketing. I'm always looking like think about new ways for marketing, but then like then Chantal will be like, "Oh, you should get TikTok." I'm like, "I don't want TikTok."
It's honestly, dude, it's so easy. Like it's like the easiest, lowest effort. It's okay. Let me be clear. It's gonna be easy and low effort for you because you have 15, 20 years of experience developing this brand of yours, and so you're just taking a well-established thing and migrating it to a TikTok without having to change who you are. It's not, you don't have to do the clout chasey shit. That's what people who don't have brands do. That's another way to look at it. Because, like, I think people get misconceptions. So, in marketing, it's about communication with the people, right? So, like, if you're trying to communicate with the people, you gotta be where people are. And the truth about TikTok is the only people that will ever see you will like you for the most part. Because TikTok is fucking scary. It's gonna know exactly who you want to fuck level of good.
Well, that's what that girl was saying to me. Like how she was just doing something like what she thought was regular ass shit, just like making jokes and that, and then she's like, all of a sudden, big following. I'm like, but like, I'm not like to have a huge following. I don't know. That's what I'm like, concerned about. You know what I mean?
I mean, if it gives you,
But then,
but it gives you bags enough to pay people to be concerned on your behalf. That's the only benefit I could say is you wouldn't have to go bank steal.
hmm, you think? What TikTok?
Bro, okay, like I don't know how else to put this, but like if you play into the dad shit, the dad look you got going on, and you recognize exactly what the fuck you're doing with it, yeah, you have a viable shot at this shit.
I love sheep.
Like, like if you were paying me right now to be like giving you the best advice I could, I'd be like, yeah, bro, look at the fucking beard you got. Look at the fucking demeanor of your voice. You safe. Nobody fucking intimidated. You just, oh my gosh, you're somebody. You're a lot of people's fetish.
God, fuck.
It's direct, but like, yeah, you have a real chance at TikTok because that shit matters on TikTok, and it's not shit you can fake. This is your demeanor mixed with your looks, so it's like this combination of shit where, like, yeah, bro, you could just go say shit and people would fuck with you. Then let Chantal or whoever figure out the gimmicky side.
Send the check. Send the check, yo.
Cause yo, the rest of it's just editing. For you, it's just filming and then the rest of that shit's editing. Which if you don't want to do, somebody can do. You know, like that's what I mean. Like I think people look at it in a way where, cause yo, I'd be playing with TikTok now. I'm not trying hard though. I look at TikTok like a travel vlog of my life, and it motivates me to leave my apartment and go do things because now I want to think about play. Cause how many TikToks can be in my fucking room, right? Now you want to go outside. And then you do some shit like take a bus ride or whatever, and that turns into a TikTok, and people heart that shit, and you're like, wait, my bus ride's a TikTok? So now I'll be in the fucking grocery store commenting on fucking food items with my phone out, and I know maybe that's not the life you want, but that's what TikTok for me is like. It's like really regular shit. It's really fun actually, and it's shit my girlfriend never cares about. So like, it's fun.
Honestly, what I wish I could, what as far as like social media or whatever, like on internet, whatever you talk about for have a job, my dream would be I would love a YouTube channel where like I could build cars and race cars like Cletus McFarlane. Like I love that shit.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
TikTok
But
could get you there. I know it sounds weird, but high key, bro. Yeah, because you could do a lot on TikTok. You could just geek over cars. You could film yourself fixing shit. Bro, that plays directly into what I was just saying you'd be playing into, too. So, like, you'd be fucking killing that shit. Look, I'm not going to pretend like it wouldn't take a couple of years and a little bit of effort here and there, but, like, it's a realistic thing. It's not, like, fake. If you put the work in and you grind it out, the ethic you put into the rest of your life, and it's not as much time as you think. It's just if you plan it right. So you would just adapt a little bit, and then you've already got a fuck ton of authentic music. Now you're making music videos and TikTok, and you're just doing it a little different. You know, it's just shit like that. It's a really powerful tool that's not like the other ones. It might become like the other ones, but currently it's not like the other ones.
that's where the people are. I understand what you're saying. Like that's where you got to go where the people are, right?
Nah, but it's also the algorithm's fucking stupid. It's so
Yeah.
random, and like if you come in and people like you, it's like you can within a year or two be like getting bags and opportunities that would be like wildly and within the dreams and shit. Like, so I'm like, I'm gonna take TikTok more seriously this year, and I'm learning more about shit. So now we're filming horizontal and vertical on our phones, and like, I did my first show and I didn't have good TikTok footage. So I'm like, oh, that's a fucking misplay. You know, like I've seen people cut up their reels and shit, but yo, like I put out a reel of me performing, which is basically a TikTok, and then people can see what you do on stage. That gets you booked at the next place. It's like, you know, an extension of a shit like that.
100%. I agree with you on that for sure. My favorite part about one of my like probably my favorite part is the live show part, right? I'm excited for this weekend, so it's gonna be
How long is your set?
uh, this time I get to do except for the first one, so it's like got 9 songs.
You got, oh, that's a proper ass set. Yeah,
It's
Yash.
gonna be fucking. Pardon?
Are you guys gonna film that?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll be definitely get some footage of that for sure. It's good. It's gonna be. I think the whole show's gonna be dope. Some solid artists on there, and it's. I feel like people are hungry for a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think it's gonna be a lot of the guys who've been in the scene for a minute are gonna be coming checking out. Like it's gonna be just like welcome back to the scene, everybody kind of vibe. I think it's how this one's gonna go. So I'm super excited for that to touch base with a lot of people I haven't seen and even people I haven't met before. You know what I mean? I like the networking side of it. That's why I like what the live shows too. So
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Everybody's nice now. I don't know about your part of the world, but COVID made us all softies. But I mean, like, we all just, like, we're just nicer to each other in a way I've never seen before.
this is okay. I'm okay with nice. You know, we can nice in the world, but it's when we get soft is the problem. Is when I see the soft that can be detrimental. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for like just the shows that are coming back. Cause I got like some shows that like I'm gonna be running the show because I usually run the shows a lot of times too. I enjoy running the shows too, and like I used to run a show called Building Bridge where we bring out of town artists on and everything. It's all about building network for me. That's how I've been going about my marketing side of it. Like I feel like I built a strong network, but my marketing sucks. So like I know lots of people, but like I don't really put like how you're saying like the TikTok or something where I get
Okay, but to be fair, the TikTok inherently isn't it. It's the package and the story, right? Like, I didn't just say TikTok. I was like, you got to be a TikToker that's selling your dad shit and this fucking vibe with your voice and this. And it's a story. Marketing is all about the story that you're selling that moves a product. So, like, often with like Nike, it's just do it, but like that's a fucking story. It motivates your brain in a certain way. So like I try to take certain tenets with my brand. That's why I described myself as a weirdo artist before, because it's trying to let you know some things about me. You know, this is what it is, and like there's like ways I present myself and the songs I make and shit. Like it's all like part of this narrative in a sense. Like my whole life is a TV show, and everybody's like a character on it. And marketing is a lot more of treating your brand like that, and then your music is the product. So marketing is the packaging that surrounds it. So like, what's good promo? Is it really putting money into an ad? I don't know. I'm promoting a song that called I don't like pickle chips, so I had one of my peoples have a bag of pickle chips in the crowd, and then they threw it at me, and then I would ranted, and then I threw the fucking pickle chips, hit somebody in the crowd randomly with a bag of chips, and then I did my song. That's marketing to me, because that's a fucking vibe, and then I'm gonna do that everywhere.
showmanship. Part of the shows,
But it's
right?
all part of the lore, because when you think about it, it's like I don't like pickle chips, and I'm rant, you know, like it's a story, and then the next track's called lose weight, and then I gave a little speech about how but real talk, chips is probably not the smart move. You know what I mean? You know, like
Many chips. That's awesome. Like that. Though, like that's exactly what I'm saying. Like if you have a structure and I like that, you know what I mean? You're maneuvering through something with your little like
you
when you're
know,
doing music, you got a little.
it's because of video games, bro.
Pardon?
It's all because of video games. It's the stupidest shit ever. I'm sure that most people would find that baffling, but I played giant video games like Fallout and Skyrim and these games that are like immersive worlds, but not just that. They have books in these games, bro, and these books are backed by history and all of this shit. So I watch people who make like 10-hour YouTube videos on the lore of video games, not the game.
10.
Yeah, bro. I'm down. I'm not afraid because I'm in an office job, right? So half my life is like reading fucking shit on the internet, writing reports, and so I can just have this shit playing like a podcast in a sense. But what I learned from video games is that people like stories because if I'm that invested and these things get 500,000 views, you'd be shocked, bro. 500,000 views off of fucking some Fallout 4 shit. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So I start noticing this habit and I learn about lore. And it's what Marvel does. It's why people care about the Marvel movies because when you dig beneath the movie, everything in the movie correlates to this comic book or to this fucking I don't know, TV show in the 90s, and there's the Easter eggs. And so now people get attached to it like it's more than a game or it's more than a movie. So when you look at Eminem, there's the story with his mom and the this, and it's more than just music. Even what you said with
Yeah,
Tupac, Tupac is a great example. He might be one of the goats at this shit. Arguably, I don't think most people remember the music like they remember the man and the story. That picture where he flips off the fucking camera after like, getting shot, and then, dude, that's the most legendary. Like that shit is like lore, you know.
I see him on the news and he's like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, it was just different. Like, I feel like, obviously, I didn't know Tupac, but you felt like you're more connected to the artist back then. I feel like than now. So, you know what I mean?
That's
Or maybe
good.
just more. But I feel like the way the world is, like, yeah, I don't know. Imagine if Tupac had a fucking Facebook or like social media. Like, how would
Yo,
that
I
even work
don't
out?
know. So a lot of people be like, I feel like people be split. But if Tupac was rich, he'd have a team, and it would probably be done right, like
Yeah,
Eminem's. But it would be like Eminem's or Dr. Dre's. He would be one of them dudes. I promise. He would have a shit social media presence. But why the fuck does it matter when Tupac dropped the next project? Everybody paying attention. Kendrick doesn't have to tweet.
I mean, like, say for example, like when he came on, he's flipping out the fucking thing. Imagine the social, your Facebook. It'd be like how when fucking how now when they Chris Rock slaps, but like you mean like it'd be like that, like oh Tupac fucking like you know what I mean like
I
the
think.
world is different.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
that shit just makes people money a lot of the time.
I get well, I mean like I guess made me feel like just a regular dude or something more so. Like I feel like rappers now or like even like famous people. I feel like they're just almost it's almost it's like just an image. You know what I mean?
That's
They're,
fair. I would agree with you that rappers are often super boring in their lives, and that reflects in their music. And you would not be boring in your life because you've played a lot of music live. You've interacted with tons of artists. You've multiple facets of the creation process. To me, this is like, yo, high key. That's and you grind at like work. That's like not a boring life, and you've done it for like over 10 years consistently. You have experiences. You meet fucking Joel Ortiz and shit. So then you compare that to homeboy that's just like I go to work, I got my girl, and then I make my music and I go to the club. I don't know. That's just regular. There's like only so many songs you can get out of that unless you're going to the club in other countries and shit. Upon which I now care about you going to the club because that's lit.
yeah. You know, I friggin' I was gonna say something. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's not you. It's the weed, bro. It's not you.
but yeah, yeah. People wildly just have like they don't try to do ambitious things. Like, look, my music is like struggle music for old man hustlers because I'm struggling on my old man hustles.
But you know what? That's like it's the purest form of shit. Sometimes, like I think that's the most purest and organic shit. You know what I mean? And I actually remember what I was gonna say is I was gonna actually bring up that you're talking about creativity and comics. And that I actually started doing a thing with my homie John Lopez. It's called Whatever the Weather Comics. And like we're doing a comic now, so then we like go like shoot some see some pictures, and they filters it all up, put some bubbles and all that shit. So we got that coming up too. So that's
Hold
pretty
up,
cool.
hold
I
up.
enjoyed
Y'all
that.
are making a comic on some filters on your face shit?
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, we got full of AKs and everything, bro. It's crazy.
That's wild.
So let's say something else. Like you said, it's doing something new in the sport of creating, right? So, but like you're saying about there's the umbrella that's the brand, right?
Yeah,
It's what you have.
it's
You got
the
to sell the umbrella. Actually, I guess.
it's the story that connects the dots that makes people care. Also, like you're so community centric, bro. Like my biggest hack was going, oh, say word. I'm an English Montrealer, and the best 4 words I ever came up with was support local English media. That's the hottest 4 words I have in my arsenal of marketing jargon. That shit's gonna actually make me money because I'm gonna turn it into a whole ass merch line and shit and walk around Montreal wearing a support local English media shirt. Motherfucker, grandma might buy that shit. You can capture a story that taps into emotions and attach that to your brand. Like, so now, yo, because Quebec's wild. You may not know this. I'm not even dead. I'm dead ass about this English shit. Quebec's trying to pass a law where doctors will not be allowed to speak to me in English. That's not fake. You
What?
can Google that. You won't see it because it's all French media, but that's a real thing that's happening right now. But they gave us all $500, right? They gave us all
For
five,
what?
just
That's supposed
tax,
to.
just on some income tax shit. Everybody under $100,000 a year gets 5 bills. So thank you, Quebec, but also fuck you. Your doctor might not be able to talk to you in English next time. That's where I'm at. So it's not fake shit for me. I really take this English shit to like my core because, yo, I speak French, but my parents might be kind of fucked in the future. So it's really deep to my core. And then local media doesn't exist in my language. Like, I went and talked to politicians because who's going to fucking talk to the English politicians in my hood? Who the fuck's here? What news? There's no English media really. I lied. There's one other podcast and shit, and there's a couple people. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no real English media here. All our journalists that speak English that are worth anything dip out to your part of the world.
That's crazy. So they're trying to ban it. Hey, they don't like it. That's crazy.
It's
I
been
would just go to the.
like a
Sorry.
slow chipping away effort for the my entire life. I've watched them attack English my whole life.
That's crazy. I would just go to the doctor on my phone and have the translation app on. Like here, just read it. Let him talk to you.
Bro, I mean, I yeah, but like, yo, it's weird when it's where you live.
It's inhumane. To me, it feels like it's inhumane when they say stuff like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or like, it's a huge form of obviously it's discriminating. Like,
Yo, it's an
like,
election year, bro. I'm telling you, it's all politics. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It's an
but
election
they,
year. They're like laying this shit up so they can come in and be like, we did this, 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 this. Because, yo, Montreal don't mean shit, right? It's Farmer Quebec that votes for everything.
that's crazy. But like you said, in politics, I
Yeah.
don't even like to think about politics or anything involved with it because it's so out of control. Like that, out of my control. Like, what can you do about it? You know what I mean?
The only thing I can say that people can do is run for local politics. I found out I can do that. But otherwise, in general, I completely agree with you. A lot of it. Yo, but then you're living in Quebec and French shit happens, and it's weird because you can't avoid it. It's like in your face day in, day out. Like, it's like if we were another country, y'all would be geeking on our shit.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, everybody gets like something different like that, right?
But anyway, not to go all negative on that shit, but it just that kind of shit though. It's like part of my core, so I bring that into my brand, and it creates a story. And the more you can do to almost make it not about your music, the more people will care about your music. Is the basics of branding. So it's like who you is matters more. Yo, this interview makes me want to fuck with Ross Burns 100 times more than your music did.
All right, all right, all right. Well, you know what though is when you're saying this, like I can agree with you too because like that's the first thing I do when I hear a new song, like a new artist I like. I go looking for like interviews because I want to see what this guy's about. You know what I mean? Like, is this guy really? I think he's a bird. Like, what's his vibe? Like, you can feel like an energy. You know what I mean? So I can 100% attest that. That's why I do like doing the interviews and that too because I like just interacting, but also I feel like it gives people a chance to like. If you don't know me, I mean, you think I'm this. A lot of people think you're this or that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't know me, bro. You don't speak on me. No, don't speak on me. You know?
I don't know anything about anyone. I don't know anything about most of my guests when I come into it. I'm like, we're just gonna walk through your life, and you're gonna tell me shit that if I tried to Google, I wouldn't find, and then we'd never talk about because I wouldn't have found it.
I like. You mean you had me thinking back to like I was learning about myself again almost. You know what I mean?
I'm
Even
just,
when
I'm just a kid. Cause like, what if I have kids, right? You know, like, give me some parenting tips. Like, people don't know that. I'm just like trying to learn, right? And like, wildly, people do some super nifty shit when they're young. They just do. I mean, not everybody, but some people got epic ass stories. Like 2, 3 interviews ago, this kid was like, "Yo, my parents brought me to a metal show when I was like 4, and they thought that shit was so metal they let us in."
pretty fucking metal though, bro. Like,
So
that's
like, But yeah, that type of shit. It's like, to me, that's how people get to know you, because they can see that Ross Burns is this guy, is life. This is who you are, and in a sense, the brand is more about the story around you than it is like. And as much as it's authentic, everybody should curate the parts of your story you put out, a little bit. But like, it is about creating this, like, what I look at it like, my like persona is my idealistic version of myself, a little bit embellished version of my human self. It's like my superhero version. Like, if I could be anybody, this is who I'd want to be, and I put that in like my whole brand.
That's who you can be.
Sorry.
You're being the best version of you. Like, that's perfect, right? That's the best way to be. Try to live and be somebody else. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like you're not still. You know what I mean? So why do you like? You're probably not going to be able to be that. And why would you want to be that? Like,
Well, like,
you,
I'm wildly ambitious though, so in my head I'm like, I could pretty much do anything anybody on Earth did at some point. So
I'm the same way for computer shit. But like when it comes to like tools or like, I'm very, yeah. I feel like I can do lots of shit. Like I definitely can take care of myself. I'll be all
So
right.
it's like, I look at it like, when I say the superhero version, it's like, I'm just picturing me in 10 years when I rap about now. It's just picturing. It's imagination's okay. You're allowed to have that.
You get your black.
No, it's
Right? Once
got,
you get,
bro. It's got grays all over it. You can't see it now, but like in proper light, there's these fat ass white ones that are dominating the sides. And then girls kept saying this to me: "You better not dye it." And I said, oh, this is good for the
oh,
brand. I don't like it at all. It makes me feel old as fucking shit. I got gray hairs everywhere. It's terrible in the sun. But like, salt and pepper and all that shit, and you're like, that's universal. That's across the board, bro. That's like 80% yes in the eyes of my experiences. So it's like, oh, this is just a blessing. Okay.
bro, bro, you're up your hair colors. You know what I mean? Like, what's the other option? You mean like I know some people
Yo,
that like.
they dye it.
I hope I can just let it all. Like I hope I run the wheels right off this fucking body, and I'm just like old withered out man. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine you like over and your beard didn't go gray yet?
I don't know,
You
dude.
know,
I'm at the part where it's starting to go gray, so it's a little bit of a mind fuck. Okay, like, it's been going gray, but now it's telling me it's over, bro. You are now like, it's hitting that level. Like, it's done. Like, I got, like, within 2 years it's gonna start actually looking like yours. Like, no lie, it's really picking up the pace and shit. Like,
but you be a rap like everybody else. Then you're old man.
not a bit of
I like I said, this.
Nah, it's fair, but yo, I appreciate you, Ross Burns. You're a very interesting fellow with a whole bunch of stuff that is going on. Y'all gotta remember, if you up in his part of town. No, this is gonna come out on YouTube in the past, so if you're watching this now and you're in his part of town, it's gonna be Friday. You got the show, but he has other stuff in the future that will come. So just remember to hit up Ross Burns for your tickets and to, support that, man. All the links and stuff are gonna be in the description, and then I have them in the chat here for the people live. And make sure to go follow and support the dude, and then hit him up on Facebook and tell him to go on other platforms. Just peer pressure him.
I do that from TikTok. TikTok, I don't know. But bro, I appreciate. I mean, like yeah, actually, I appreciate the knowledge you're kicking too. You mean give me a different view on shit too. So, but I appreciate just that you mean taking the time to have me on the show, and I appreciate you just in general. Like guys like you is what we need. Like I always say to interview guys. You know what I mean? Without you guys, we don't have an outlet.
Mm.
So then we're learn about you. You know what I mean? Or to like get to hear you talk and shit. So kudos to you, Bona. Keep doing your thing too.
I mean, it's a big blessing, dude. It's almost like a cheat code to life. I get to talk to people who've done shit in like the level of expertise that you would go to school for and pick their brain. Like, I'm fucking Joe Rogan, like at least twice a week for like almost a good year and a half constant. Like, maybe. And yo, I basically got a university education in some arbitrary artist shit out of this. Like, it's not conventional, but it's gonna help me make a crazy amount of success in my life.
You know what? it might not be conventional, but it's the way you learn is probably way more practical and way more like realistically that you can apply it. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna take in the stuff that you're gonna keep the stuff that you know you can apply to other places.
Yeah,
Just like Joe
facts.
Rogan, I
I,
knows a lot about you listen to this fucking guy, right?
I mean, he's an interesting dude, sorta. I don't know about now, but for a minute, Joe Rogan was super interesting to me. Nowadays, it's like I just. Anyway, he's a controversial figure. Some people love him. I feel like he cares more about controversy than truth. And that.
That's but like podcasts are dope. Like I even thought about starting a
You
podcast,
should.
but
Bro, it's
I
so
don't know.
easy. Like, okay, look, you have anybody that you can just shoot the shit with on a regular basis and not want to kill? If the answer is yes, find that person and fucking literally, you want to talk about cars? Talk about cars. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the fuck you care about, and shit, if it's not about music, it's better.
Yeah, see, you're right. You're right. I gotta like, because that's the thing. Like, I don't like when it comes to marketing. I don't want to be putting my song in people's face every day. Like, it's becomes spamish, you know. So you got to make them want to go from a different direction, maybe.
Mm.
You're putting it in my mind here.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience with converting old people to the tech side. You have no idea who you went up against on that one.
I got him. I got him.
But it's just I'm spitting it in ways where I understand what your reservations are, and I don't think most people understand what your reservations are because they don't know that I spent over a year kind of low key loafing on TikTok, missing boats and shit because I was going through the same thing you're going through. They don't know that part. I don't even tell people that part because it's less cool, so to speak. But no, for real, every move, even Twitch, took me a year and a half longer than it should have. Like, it's pretty normal to take fucking forever to adopt a new platform. It's just the fact is, if you do start doing it, it's like pulling off a band-aid, and then your life gets simpler because you don't know what you don't even know that there's like a car community that is cool, that you know, like there's shit you don't know that you're gonna fuck with that could help your brand if you're an artist about it. And then if you really want to not use TikTok, become a fucking creator and you will not want to spend your time on the app as much.
All right, yeah. Let's see what's going on.
But yeah.
I gotta go back to the apps.
Anyway, take your time with it. There's no rush though, because it's like when you're ready, you'll do it. If not, there's gonna be other ways. It's not the only way. It's just right now, TikTok's a hot way to go about it without having to sell out. That's a rare thing.
Honestly, it's a thing to think anything but going to work, right? That's just how it's raised. Like you wake up, you go to work. That's what you do. Like I've never thought about. Can you imagine making money doing this? Like, no, I can't even imagine. That's stupid. Only other people do that. I would never do that.
Yo,
You know? But
people want to support you with cash. It happens. Like, I can't say I'm profitable, but like homeboy Lindell, who is defending Rogan just now, where fair enough, he cares about the truth. I said it appears like he doesn't care about the truth sometimes. But that dude pays me money on a monthly on some Patreon shit for the fact that we do this shit. He cares more about my album reviews, but he fucking rides like since 2017. It's wild to me. But yo, people will pay you for this shit. I mean, you need a Chantel type person to do that part and tell you what to do a bit. But like for the most part, yeah, dude, like it's a sustainable business model to create authentic. Like even some random dude in like Ontario, he just never sold out. He's on YouTube. I fucks with him at Dosa Buckley. He just stopped YouTube. He refused to take ads, whatever, whatever. And now the dude's making easily 15K a month on Patreon. That's how many people support dude. Okay, maybe 5 to 10K, but like it's in that number range. Now, is that easy? No. Is it going to take work? Yes. But if you look at this side of life like it's work, like, bro, I post on TikTok because it's a job. I have like fucking all sorts of shit. I'm going to have to post a clip of this at some point on TikTok and stuff. Like, it's a job. And then it does come with all the things that you're afraid of sometimes with number fucking focus and addiction issues and shit. Like there's parts of it that are trash, but like if you want it to be a living, yeah, super viable.
that's That's crazy for me to even think about doing something that I'm not just getting paid like a check like hourly because I'm just that's the breed of me, right? The old man fucking. I grew up listening to like my dad's truck start every morning, go to work. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm supposed to do, I think. So like, but maybe I need to step out of the box more that way, right?
It would help your artistry. At no least, it's a good experiment.
Hmm. Is this a challenge? Hey, we've been challenged.
Right, more of y'all on TikTok, yo, we can have fun on TikTok because it gets real community like. So you could do shit like giant ass group ciphers off of anyway. There's or you could even do like short video lore. Like for me, it's all about lore, but like I can create a video being like, "Yo, what's up, Ross Burns? I see you out there with the car. Shit, coming back. You looking super legit. Whatever. That wasn't great, but like, and then you could respond in kind with your fucking thing, and then it creates this thing where the community elements. Like, here's the thing: you don't see this shit because nobody fucking does this shit. That's why you can't see what I'm picturing really well. But like, I looked a lot into this, and there's ways to play this where it's different than other people do, but the people who do it like that as squads, as units of like 30, 40 people kind of collaborating. It's like having 40 people in the music video only on TikTok. And then that's like 40 likes. Yeah, it sounds corny, but nah, you got 40 people down to fuck with you. That's amazing. So it's like you create the kind of circle of positivity in a sense, and then create networking. So you get your local peoples, you create content with them. It could be music videos, it could be whatever, and then tag each other, and then people get attached to the bigger collective. And there's no fucking easier way to find like-minded people than the internet. I be on this shit all the time, bro. That's why it's so well versed. I have conversations like this. Like, my girlfriend refuses to go on TikTok. She gets this speech easily, like, easily once a month. She hates it. She is so tired of it. She's probably not going to do it, but I try anyway. So, like, for me, it's like uphill battle shit. But I don't know. I fuck around with Spotify. I fuck around with shit. And I'm like, yo, there's absolutely ways where if, like, 50 of us work together, we all win.
That's the thing. I agree with you. The strength in numbers always, right? That's always the case for sure. You got a team, you're gonna do better if you got a team that's like-minded, right?
Yeah, but it's also like you mix that with TikTok, and it's super hard to put those two concepts together. And I totally respect that because it's not what we would picture normally. So, anyway, I have to say, is it a challenge? I guess I want the whole world to get on TikTok and to fuck around with it before hating it. Hate it if you hate it, but as a creator, I care more about video editing because of TikTok. And a lot of weird shit I wasn't expecting happened because I decided to make stupid selfie fucking videos. Like a lot, I'm better at selfies and picture taking, like all because of fucking TikTok. Because you see other people's TikToks, and now you're going, how did they edit that video? Because you've edited your own video, and that kind of shit started happening to me. And then that applied to more shit, so I'm gonna be better at everything I do because of fucking TikTok. And it's like, how do you explain to people that shit?
Like I don't hate TikTok. I'm like, oh, another app. Holy fuck! Like that's more my thing. But maybe I need to have that going to something else. Because like for example, Instagram, I don't barely know how to work
Yeah, I
Instagram. Like
fucking hate
posting on.
Instagram. I'm there because it's a necessary evil in my social life of rappers
Yeah.
and shit. Like I said, anybody under 25 on Instagram, but not necessarily on TikTok. So Instagram is still relevant and very popping if you want to meet young people. And I don't know. I got into taking pictures of shit. Like, I got into it. I like posting on Instagram. I fucking hate using the app otherwise. I hate Reels. I don't like browsing content. I think its algorithm is trash. So, I like stories, though. I really do like the stories part where you just click through the circles. Oof, I'm super into stories.
I'm a stories fan too. Like if I'm just a quick man and I look at my phone, I'll check out the stories sometimes. Or that's where I generally where I post. That's where I post more than anything, more than in my stories.
So, yeah, look at TikTok. Like, TikTok is just posting stories all the time.
I should have known you were going to go there as soon as I said that. You're like, oh, I see.
Because, yeah, I'm like, no, hold on a second. Half my stories are TikToks. Like, it's the opposite for me. I go to TikTok, I should half my... I love this shit. I love social media talk. I know it's whatever. But yeah. Anyway, it's stuff just because, like, I really believe that anybody watching this, if they're not fucking with it, I mean, professionally, I work in social media shit for my company, so I do get paid to know things. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I get paid to know things, so, in this domain. So it's like a blessing to me to be able to talk about this and that you even care, because, you know, sometimes people wildly don't even care, and that's fair. It's not in everyone's interest scope, so.
Well, when you tell somebody they can get a bag, like I don't know who's not interested in that, bro. Like man, that's crazy. But like on the serious side, it's more or less like you're saying, the reach is way better for me, probably, right?
Yeah, if you package yourself correctly, I'm not saying it's going to happen fast. That part's not true, but you're not a rookie, so you get to cut the line in ways that most people can't because you have substance and shit. And I'm saying you could just, yo, homeboy I interviewed, he's not even that like doesn't do hasn't like done as much as other people, but he took the TikTok and just started sharing like these morning motivational posts and shit like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you all have a really wonderful day. And I'm just really excited to share with you insert trivial bullshit." And that's all he does. And I'm like, yo, this guy is so excited to share his shit with people. And he's just so enthused. That's what he wants to do with it. And I'm like, man, that's not how people represent this shit. But that's how people should be doing it.
Stories are easy. You're not wrong. I get these stories easily.
And that's TikTok
We'll
is
see.
just like stories, but you make them a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you, man. You're a really open-minded dude too. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I never know what I'm expecting with people, but your whole like demeanor and everything is fun, and you do such interesting shit with your life. And like, honestly, if you're ever in Hamilton, apparently you're a plug, so it's good to know.
yeah, bro. I tell you, if you want to do a show, come through. We'll get you to do a show.
Bro, I'm telling
Let me
you,
hook.
that's not even hyperbolic at this point in my life. I'm trying to keep my story alive, right? And so my story needs shows. need to be. I need to be like, yo, we on the road, bro. Oh my gosh. And,
Shows for the soul, you know? Shows for the soul.
but
And
yeah,
I'm excited.
so yeah, man, I look forward to like linking up with you in real life and all of that good shit, and you know, seeing what builds in the future. And you definitely are somebody people should follow. If even if it's not for like whatever, just to see what you get up to next, because you're apparently gonna get up to some shit.
I'm gonna get always in the sun, bro. Try to keep it moving, you know? So hopefully, that we're trying. Me and my couple of my buddies were looking at. We want to try to do like a little short film, and like our next little thing we want to try. Just something different, bro. You know. Then we can have our own music and stuff. Like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, man,
So
I'm all
that's
for
fun.
that. But yeah, and thank you all to everybody that's watching this, that stuck it through, all of you that came through for, because some people be here for like most of this. So that means they with us this whole time, watching it, and that's fucking wild to me every time.
Just love you guys, man. Everybody, I people who support me for real, though. You know what I mean? So I love those people, man. They always been supporting me for many moons, and like that's it makes like I can't. What do you say, bro? I said thank you, I guess you know. And I appreciate them to spend their time with us here, man. Like I said, I appreciate you taking your time.
Ah, man, it's a
Little thing.
blessing. And I just appreciate everybody watching this in the future, because while you're not here with us, you're still watching it. So shout out y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff too, because that's also important for the whatevers. And yeah, with all that being said and done, all of your links are going to be in the description of this video. Whoops, 1 second. I was about to do a raid on Twitch, but then the person raiding is when you take your Twitch audience and you invade another person's channel. It is the most community centric bullshit ever, but it also forces you to have to go make fucking friends with everybody on Twitch, which is lovely. I'm not mad. Yeah, Ismail just showed up and got your links. But yeah, so basically I hit the raid button now, and a little 10-second counter comes down. And when I hit the next button, all the people here right now with us, there's 7 people, are going to go into the next person's channel. And on that note, everybody, live long and prosper out there. And
Respect.